Welcome to Brada Tales. Tonight, prepare yourself for hours of captivating adventures and enchanting discoveries as we take you into a world where fairy tale fantasy blends seamlessly with the calming sound of rain, perfect for unwinding. Before you drift off, let us know where you're tuning in from and the time in the comments below. If these stories spark your imagination, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Now settle in, get comfortable, and let your mind wander freely. Beneath the starlit sea. In the quaint seaside town of Lunarville, where the rhythmic sound of waves blended harmoniously with the gentle whispers of the wind, lived a sailor named Elias. Since childhood, Elias was enchanted by the sea, drawn to its beauty and hidden mysteries. Each morning before dawn broke, he would walk along the shoreline, feeling the cool sand beneath his feet, as the sky transformed from deep indigo to shades of pink and gold. It was a daily ritual that stirred his imagination, igniting dreams of adventure beyond the horizon. Elias had inherited his father's beloved fishing boat, the Heart of the Ocean, a sturdy vessel that had weathered countless storms and sailed to distant shores. To him, it was more than just a means of livelihood. It was a sanctuary, a vessel of memories filled with laughter and tales shared under starlit skies. On one particularly tempestuous evening, after a fierce storm had raged through Lunarville, he ventured out to the docks to inspect his boat, hoping to find it intact. As he rummaged through the hold, he stumbled upon a chest, half buried under tangled nets and forgotten gear. Curiosity piqued, Elias pried the chest open, revealing a treasure trove of old nautical instruments, journals, and maps. Among them was a tattered piece of parchment that caught his eye, an ancient map adorned with strange symbols and an intricate drawing of an underwater kingdom. His heart raced as he traced the lines of the map with his fingers, realizing it depicted a route leading to the fabled Aquarian realm, a mythical place that had been whispered about in local legends for generations. The stories he had heard since childhood flooded his mind, tales of merfolk with shimmering scales, grand underwater palaces, and treasures lost to time. The notion that such a place might actually exist ignited an adventurous spirit within him. He felt a calling deep within his soul, as if the ocean itself beckoned him to uncover its secrets. As night fell over Lunarville, Elias stood on the deck of the Heart of the Ocean, staring out at the vast expanse of water that glimmered under the moonlight. The stars twinkled overhead, creating a celestial map that mirrored the one he had just discovered. With the map clutched tightly in his hand, he made a decision. At dawn, he would set sail on a journey that could change his life forever. He would follow the path drawn by the ancients, plunging into the depths of the ocean in search of the kingdom hidden beneath the waves. Determined and filled with excitement, Elias spent the night preparing for his voyage. He gathered supplies, provisions, and fishing gear, ensuring he was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. As he loaded the last of the items onto his boat, he glanced at the horizon, where the first light of dawn began to break. The air was thick with anticipation, and he could almost hear the whispers of the ocean urging him forward. With the rising sun illuminating the sky, Elias cast off from the dock, the Heart of the Ocean slicing through the waves with purpose. He felt a mixture of thrill and trepidation as the shoreline faded from view, the familiar comforts of home replaced by the vast unknown. Each wave that crashed against the hull seemed to echo the call of adventure, and as he navigated further into the open sea, he knew deep in his heart that this journey would lead him not only to an underwater kingdom but also to revelations about his own lineage, secrets that had been buried beneath the waves for far too long. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting its warm glow over the ocean, Elias steered the Heart of the Ocean further from the safety of the shore. The salty breeze tousled his hair and filled his lungs with the invigorating scent of the sea. With each passing wave, his excitement grew, mingling with a tinge of anxiety as he contemplated what lay ahead. The map, now carefully spread out on the boat's deck, fluttered slightly in the wind, beckoning him onward. The sea was alive with activity. Schools of fish darted beneath the surface, their scales shimmering like scattered jewels, while seabirds cried out overhead, swooping and diving in search of their next meal. Elias couldn't help but feel a deep connection to the world around him. a sense of belonging that resonated within him as he navigated through the blue expanse. It was as if the ocean had embraced him, welcoming him into its depths with open arms. Hours passed as he followed the directions laid out on the map, the symbols becoming more familiar as he learned their meanings. The ancient language hinted at various points of interest, and soon he found himself approaching a cluster of islands that seemed to rise like emerald jewels from the ocean's surface. Each island was lush and vibrant, the colors so vivid they seemed almost unreal, promising undiscovered secrets waiting to be uncovered. As he neared the first island, he noticed something peculiar. The waves danced differently here, swirling in mesmerizing patterns as if guiding him to a specific spot. Intrigued, Elias maneuvered his boat closer and dropped anchor. He decided to explore the island, feeling an unexplainable pull toward its dense foliage. Grabbing a small satchel filled with essentials, water, snacks, and a trusty dagger for protection, he rowed to the shore, excitement bubbling within him. The island was a tapestry of colors and sounds. Brightly colored flowers adorned the landscape, their fragrant blooms filling the air with sweet perfume. Birds of every hue flitted through the trees, their songs harmonizing in a delightful symphony. Elias stepped onto the sandy beach, his feet sinking into the warmth of the sand as he took in his surroundings. The path ahead was shaded by towering palm trees, their fronds swaying gently in the breeze, beckoning him to venture deeper into the heart of the island. As he walked along the winding trail, the lush vegetation thickened around him. Vines hung from the branches like nature's drapery, and the sounds of hidden creatures rustled in the underbrush. With every step, the thrill of exploration coursed through him, fueling his curiosity. He felt like an adventurer in a tale woven from dreams, ready to uncover hidden treasures and ancient secrets. After several minutes of trekking, Elias stumbled upon a clearing. At its center stood a large, moss-covered stone altar, intricately carved with the same symbols that adorned the map. His heart raced as he recognized them. The markings were unmistakable, telling the tale of the Aquarian realm and the bond between the ocean and its inhabitants. This was a place of significance, a historical landmark that held the keys to the secrets he sought. Elias approached the altar cautiously, examining the carvings that seemed to come to life in the dappled sunlight. The images depicted scenes of merfolk and sailors, hand in hand, sharing in the bounty of the sea. It spoke of unity and connection, a reminder that the ocean was not just a vast body of water, but a living entity that held the stories of all who dared to traverse its depths. Suddenly he heard a splash nearby, breaking the tranquil atmosphere. His heart raced as he turned to see a figure emerging from the water, a young woman with shimmering hair that glistened like the ocean's surface, her eyes reflecting the vibrant hues of the sea. She was breathtaking, radiating an otherworldly beauty that left him momentarily speechless. "Who dares to tread upon this sacred ground?" she called out, her voice melodic and echoing through the trees. Elias felt a mixture of fear and awe, realizing he had encountered someone from the very legends that had fueled his dreams. This was no mere coincidence. The ocean had indeed called him here for a reason. "I'm Elias," he managed to reply, his voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions within him. "I seek the truth of the Aquarian realm and the secrets it holds. I found a map that led me here." The woman regarded him with a mixture of curiosity and caution, her expression shifting as she took in his words. "Many have sought the kingdom, but few understand its true significance. What you seek is not just treasure but a connection to your own heritage." Elias felt a jolt of recognition. Heritage? Could it be that his lineage was intertwined with the ocean and its mysteries? The woman stepped closer, her presence radiating warmth, as if she were part of the very essence of the sea. "You must be careful, Elias. The ocean is both a giver and a taker. Your journey has just begun, and the challenges ahead will test your resolve," she warned, her eyes shimmering with a mixture of concern and intrigue. "Will you help me?" he asked, driven by a sense of purpose. "I need to know the truth." With a gentle nod, she extended her hand, inviting him to join her on this unexpected adventure. As Elias took her hand, he felt an electric surge of energy, as if the ocean itself were wrapping around him, guiding him toward his destiny. Together, they set off deeper into the island, the allure of the Aquarian realm beckoning them forward. Each step brought them closer to uncovering not only the secrets of the ocean but also the truths that lay buried within Elias himself. As Elias and the mysterious woman made their way deeper into the heart of the island, the lush greenery thickened around them, forming a vibrant canopy that filtered the sunlight into shimmering patterns on the forest floor. The air was heavy with the scent of salt and blossoms, mingling in a way that felt both invigorating and soothing. Each step they took resonated with an ancient rhythm, as if the island itself was alive and aware of their presence. "Who are you?" Elias asked, his curiosity getting the better of him as they navigated the winding path. "You seem different from anyone I've ever met. There's something about you that feels magical." The woman smiled, her eyes sparkling like the ocean under the sun. "I am Lyra, guardian of this island and protector of the secrets that lie within the ocean. My purpose is to ensure that the balance between our worlds is maintained." Her voice was melodic, and with each word, Elias felt a deep sense of trust blossom between them. "I sensed your arrival the moment you anchored your boat. The ocean whispered your name to me." Elias felt a shiver run down his spine. The ocean whispered my name? He was still trying to wrap his mind around the idea that the sea, a force of nature so vast and powerful, could have a voice. "Yes," she replied, nodding. "The ocean speaks to those who listen. It reveals its secrets to those who are willing to seek them out. You have a connection to it, Elias, a connection that runs deeper than you realize. It's why you found the map." As they reached a clearing, Elias paused to take in the view. Before him lay a shimmering lagoon, its waters a deep azure that sparkled like diamonds under the sun. Exotic fish swam gracefully beneath the surface, their scales reflecting a kaleidoscope of colors, while vibrant coral reefs dotted the underwater landscape. This was a place of enchantment, a hidden gem that felt both magical and sacred. Lyra led Elias to the edge of the lagoon, the water lapping gently at their feet. "This is where the boundary between our worlds begins," she said, her voice a soft whisper against the sounds of nature. "The lagoon is a portal to the Aquarian realm, but entering it is not without challenges. You must prove your worth to the ocean and its guardians." "What kind of challenges?" Elias inquired, a mixture of excitement and apprehension swirling within him. "Each challenge will test your courage, wisdom, and resolve," she explained. "You will face trials that draw from your own fears and desires. The ocean will show you visions, revealing the truths hidden within your heart. Only by overcoming these challenges can you gain access to the kingdom beneath the waves." Elias felt a knot tighten in his stomach. The unknown loomed ahead, yet the promise of discovery ignited a fire within him. He was no longer just a sailor searching for treasure. He was a seeker of truth, a pathfinder destined to unlock the mysteries of his lineage. "Are you ready?" Lyra asked, her gaze steady and reassuring. Elias nodded, determination coursing through him. "I am ready." With that, she took a step into the water, beckoning him to follow. The lagoon's surface shimmered as he waded deeper, the cool water enveloping him like a comforting embrace. As he submerged, he felt a sudden rush of energy, as if the ocean itself were breathing life into him. Under the surface, the world transformed. Rays of sunlight pierced through the water, illuminating the vibrant underwater landscape. Fish swam past him, darting playfully through the coral, while the haunting call of distant whales echoed in the depths. Elias felt a deep sense of belonging as he navigated the underwater realm, the water becoming an extension of himself. Suddenly, the water around him began to swirl, creating a vortex that pulled him downward. Panic gripped him for a moment, but Lyra's calm voice resonated in his mind. "Trust the ocean, Elias. It will guide you." With a deep breath, he surrendered to the current, allowing it to carry him into the unknown. The sensation was exhilarating, a mix of fear and exhilaration as he spiraled deeper into the ocean's embrace. As he descended, Elias found himself in a vast underwater cavern, the walls shimmering with bioluminescent algae that painted the space with ethereal colors. It was a realm of wonder, yet shadows loomed in the corners, whispering doubts and fears that threatened to cloud his mind. "Welcome, seeker," A voice echoed through the chamber, deep and resonant. Elias turned to see an imposing figure emerge from the shadows. A massive merman, adorned with scales that glimmered like precious metals. His presence was regal, yet his expression held a seriousness that made Elias acutely aware of the gravity of this moment. "I am Kale, guardian of the Aquarian realm," the merman declared, his voice commanding and powerful. "You seek to uncover the secrets of the ocean and your lineage. To do so, you must face the trials that test your spirit. Only then can you claim your place among the sea's chosen." Elias took a step forward, his heart racing. "I am ready to face the trials, whatever they may be. I wish to learn the truth of my heritage." Kale studied him for a long moment, the weight of the ocean's history reflected in his gaze. "Very well, Elias. Your first trial begins now." With a wave of his hand, the cavern transformed. Shadows danced along the walls, morphing into vivid images that played out like a tapestry of memories. Visions of Elias as a child, sailing alongside his father, laughter mingling with the sound of waves. But then the scene shifted, revealing a darker moment. His father's troubled expression as he spoke of the ocean's perils and the dangers that lurked within its depths. Elias felt his heart clench at the memories, the pain of loss bubbling to the surface. "What does this mean?" he demanded, looking up at Kale. "The ocean will reveal your deepest fears," the guardian replied. "To move forward, you must confront them. Only then can you unlock the truths that bind you to the sea." Elias steeled himself, understanding that this was only the beginning. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but he was determined to uncover the secrets of his lineage and his place in the grand tapestry of the ocean's story. Elias stood at the threshold of his own memories, each vision more vivid than the last. The shifting shadows danced around him, revealing a tapestry of moments that shaped his life, moments that spoke of love, loss, and longing. With each passing image, he felt the weight of his father's legacy press upon him, mingling with the newfound knowledge that he was destined for something greater than himself. "Confront your fears, Elias." Kale's voice resonated in the depths of the cavern, steady and unwavering. "Only by facing the past can you forge your path forward." The visions swirled, and he was thrust back to his childhood. A small boy aboard a modest fishing boat with his father, the sun setting on the horizon in a blaze of orange and pink. Laughter filled the air as they cast their nets into the shimmering water, the ocean alive with promise. But as the memory unfolded, Elias felt the heaviness of the moment seep in, the recollection of his father's somber warnings about the sea's hidden dangers, the storms that could come without warning, and the voices of those who were lost. In an instant, the serene scene darkened, transforming into a tempestuous storm. Wind howled and waves crashed around him as he clung desperately to the boat, his father's voice shouting instructions that were lost in the cacophony. Fear gripped his heart as he watched helplessly as the ocean swallowed the boat, taking his father with it, leaving him alone and adrift. "No," Elias cried, his voice echoing through the cavern. "I didn't save him. I was supposed to protect him." Kale stepped forward, the water swirling around him like a cloak. "This is your first trial, the trial of memories. You must accept the truth of your past. You cannot change what happened, but you can learn from it. Embrace the love your father had for you, and let go of the guilt that binds you." Elias shook his head, tears streaming down his cheeks. "How can I let go of that? He died because I wasn't strong enough." "Strength is not merely the absence of fear," Kale replied gently. "It is the courage to face it, to rise despite the pain. Your father's spirit lives on within you. He believed in you, and so must you believe in yourself." The stormy memory faded, replaced by the image of his father smiling at him with pride, holding a compass that shimmered in the sunlight. "The ocean is vast and unpredictable, but it also holds wonders beyond your imagination," he said in the memory. "Remember, Elias, the sea is not just a place of loss. It's also a realm of discovery." With those words, a warmth enveloped Elias, wrapping him in a comforting embrace. He felt the weight of guilt begin to lift, replaced by a sense of understanding. His father had not only shared tales of the sea's dangers, he had also imparted the wisdom of adventure, the thrill of exploration. "I understand now," Elias said, his voice steady. I have to honor his legacy by embracing the ocean, not fearing it. The shadows shifted once more, and Elias found himself standing on the deck of his father's boat, the ocean stretching endlessly before him. He felt the cool breeze on his skin and heard the familiar sound of the waves lapping against the hull. This was not a memory of loss, it was a reminder of the bond they shared, a bond that would guide him through the challenges ahead. As the vision faded, Elias found himself back in the cavern, breathless and transformed. I faced my fear, he declared, looking up at Kale. I accept my past, and I will honor my father's memory by forging my own path. The merman nodded, his expression softening. You have taken the first step, young sailor. But there are more trials ahead. Your next challenge lies in the depths of your heart, the trial of desires. You must confront what you truly seek and the sacrifices you are willing to make to achieve it. Elias's heart raced at the thought of what was to come. What must I do? Kale gestured towards a darkened passage that opened up in the cavern wall, a shadowy entrance that seemed to pulse with an energy of its own. Enter and you will find the answers you seek. But be warned, this trial will reveal your innermost desires and test your resolve. Prepare yourself for what lies ahead. With a deep breath, Elias stepped towards the passage, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. He understood that this was not merely a test of his strength, it was a journey into his very soul, a quest to uncover what he truly wanted from the ocean and from life itself. As he crossed the threshold, the darkness enveloped him, and he felt a pull towards something deeper, something that whispered promises of destiny and adventure. The darkness enveloped Elias as he stepped through the passage, a swirling void that seemed to pull him in different directions. There was an ethereal glow ahead, and he instinctively moved toward it, drawn by a force he couldn't explain. As he approached, the darkness receded, revealing a shimmering expanse that resembled an underwater dreamscape. This realm was vibrant and surreal. Bioluminescent corals pulsed like heartbeats, illuminating the space with soft blues and greens. Schools of fish swam gracefully around him, their bodies flickering like living jewels. Elias marveled at the beauty, but beneath the surface of his awe, a sense of apprehension lingered. What was this place and what did it want from him? Welcome to the realm of desires, a soft voice resonated from the depths of the shimmering waters. Elias turned to see a figure emerge, a woman with flowing hair that danced like seaweed in the currents, her eyes sparkling like stars. She radiated an aura of tranquility, yet there was a fierceness in her gaze that held a hint of challenge. I am Seraphina, guardian of this realm. Here you will confront your innermost desires and the sacrifices they entail. Elias nodded, his heart racing. I understand that I must face what I truly seek, but I'm unsure of what that is. Seraphina smiled gently, gesturing for him to follow. Desires can be both a blessing and a burden. They shape our choices, guiding us toward our destinies. However, they also require us to make sacrifices, sometimes painful ones. Are you ready to confront yours? Elias swallowed hard, the weight of her words settling in his chest. I am. As they ventured deeper into the realm, the vibrant colors shifted to darker hues, and the waters became thick with tension. The atmosphere grew heavy, and Elias felt an almost palpable energy swirling around him. In the distance, he spotted glowing orbs, each one pulsating with a different light. Each orb represents a desire, Seraphina explained, her voice echoing through the water. You must choose one to explore, but be mindful. Each desire holds a truth that may challenge your perception of happiness and fulfillment. Elias approached the nearest orb, which radiated a warm golden glow. As he reached out to touch it, the orb expanded, enveloping him in a cocoon of light. He was transported to a vision of his life. His childhood dreams of sailing the seas, discovering new lands, and becoming a master navigator. In this vision, he was surrounded by family and friends, their faces filled with joy and admiration. Is this what I truly desire? He asked, feeling the warmth of their love surrounding him. To be recognized as a great sailor? The scene shifted abruptly, and Elias found himself alone on a desolate shore, the vibrant colors replaced by shades of gray. The waves crashed violently, and the wind howled around him, a reflection of his own inner turmoil. But at what cost? He whispered to himself, realizing that the pursuit of glory could lead to loneliness and isolation. The orb flickered, the images dissolving into darkness, and he was back in the realm, breathless and shaken. I see now, he said, looking at Seraphina. Chasing recognition could lead to losing those I love. Exactly, she replied, her gaze steady. Your desires must align with your values. Let go of the need for validation from others. Find strength in who you are, not in what others perceive you to be. Elias took a deep breath, contemplating her words. What if my desire is to uncover the secrets of my lineage, to understand where I came from? I've always felt a connection to the sea, as if it holds the key to my past. Seraphina nodded, guiding him toward another orb, this one shimmering in deep oceanic blue. As he touched it, the water around him transformed, revealing scenes from his childhood. His mother speaking of a mystical heritage, tales of sailors who descended from the ocean's guardians. The stories painted a rich tapestry of adventure, mystery, and legacy. Ah, the desire to understand your roots, Seraphina mused. This is a noble quest, but it too comes with sacrifices. Are you prepared to uncover the truth, even if it shatters the foundation of who you believe yourself to be? Yes, Elias replied with conviction. I want to know my heritage. I want to embrace my destiny. The orb pulsed brightly, and a wave of energy surged through him, transporting him into a deeper memory, one of his mother standing on the shoreline, eyes cast toward the horizon. You come from a long line of seafarers, Elias. The ocean flows in your veins. Embrace it, for it will guide you. But the memory darkened as whispers surrounded him, voices of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. What if you are not worthy of this lineage? What if you fail? The words slithered around him, attempting to drown out his resolve. Elias fought against the tide of negativity. I will not let fear dictate my path. I am my own person, and I choose to embrace my heritage. The whispers began to fade, and the warmth of the orb enveloped him once more. When the light receded, he stood before Seraphina, filled with newfound determination. You have confronted your first desire and faced its truth. Now what remains is the final choice, your ultimate desire, the one that lies deepest within you. But be aware, it may challenge everything you know about yourself. Elias felt the weight of her words. What did he truly desire? Adventure? Knowledge? Connection? Each choice felt significant, but he understood that the heart of his quest lay in understanding who he was meant to be. With resolve, he stepped toward the final orb, a radiant purple light that pulsed like a heartbeat. I wish to find my purpose, to uncover my place in this world and the world of the sea. As he reached for the orb, a sense of clarity washed over him, ready to embrace whatever truth awaited him. As Elias touched the pulsating orb of deep purple light, he felt an immediate connection surge through him. The world around him shifted again, transforming into an expansive underwater realm filled with ethereal beings and shimmering light. He found himself standing in a grand underwater hall adorned with intricate coral sculptures and luminous seaweed that swayed gently as if dancing to an ancient melody. In the center of the hall was a magnificent throne, carved from the shells of long-lost sea creatures and encrusted with jewels that sparkled like stars. Elias felt an overwhelming sense of familiarity, as if he belonged here, as if this place resonated with a part of him he had yet to fully understand. Welcome, Elias, descendant of the ocean. A voice echoed through the hall, deep and melodious. Elias turned to see a regal figure approach, a man with flowing hair that cascaded like waves, his skin glistening as if covered in droplets of water. He wore a crown made of coral, and his eyes held the wisdom of ages. I am Kalen, the guardian of the depths, and you have come seeking the truth of your lineage. Elias took a step forward, heart racing. I wish to know my purpose, my place in this world. My mother spoke of our heritage, of a connection to the ocean, but I never understood what it truly meant. Kalen regarded him with a knowing smile. Your journey has led you here for a reason. The ocean's secrets are not merely stories, they are the essence of who you are. You are a bridge between two worlds, the human realm and the enchanted depths of the sea. Elias felt a surge of emotion at the guardian's words, but he also sensed a weighty responsibility. What must I do to embrace this legacy? How can I fulfill my purpose? The guardian motioned for Elias to follow him deeper into the hall, where walls glowed with images of ancient battles, alliances between humans and sea creatures, and the powerful magic that flowed through the waters. To fulfill your destiny, you must unite the two worlds. Our realm has been fractured for too long, and the bond that once existed between us is in peril. What happened? Elias asked, his curiosity piqued. Why is there a rift between our worlds? Kalen paused, his expression somber. Long ago, humans and sea beings coexisted harmoniously, sharing knowledge and resources. But greed and ambition drove a wedge between us. As humans sought dominion over the oceans, the sea beings retreated into the depths, hiding their magic and their secrets. Now, the balance of the ocean is threatened, and you hold the key to its restoration. Elias felt the weight of this revelation settle upon him. But how can I, just one sailor, make a difference? I'm not a hero. I'm just me. Kalen placed a reassuring hand on Elias's shoulder. Do not underestimate the power of one individual. Your journey, your choices, and your understanding of both worlds make you uniquely qualified to mend what has been broken. You must harness your courage and your compassion to bridge the gap between our realms. Elias's heart raced at the thought of such responsibility, but he felt a fire igniting within him. I'm willing to try. I want to help. The guardian nodded, his expression shifting to one of pride. Then you must seek the Crystal of Unity, a powerful artifact hidden deep within the abyssal trench. It embodies the harmony between the sea and land. Only when you present it to the heart of the ocean can the connection be restored. Elias took a deep breath, determination washing over him. How do I find the crystal? What must I do? Follow the current, Kalen instructed, gesturing toward a shimmering pathway that wound through the hall. It will lead you to the abyssal trench. But beware, for the journey is fraught with danger. You will face trials that will test your resolve and your understanding of both the sea and yourself. I'm ready, Elias said, his voice steady. I'll do whatever it takes to retrieve the crystal and restore the bond between our worlds. Kalen smiled, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Then go forth, brave sailor. The ocean watches over you, and the spirits of your ancestors will guide you. With a nod of gratitude, Elias stepped onto the path, the shimmering waters parting before him. As he ventured deeper, the light from the hall faded, replaced by the vast darkness of the ocean. The current tugged at him, guiding him toward the unknown. He swam through a tunnel of phosphorescent jellyfish that illuminated the way, their soft glow reflecting the excitement and anxiety bubbling within him. Every stroke propelled him closer to the abyssal trench, the heart of the ocean and the realm of his destiny. Elias's mind raced with thoughts of his family, the legacy of sailors that coursed through his blood, and the daunting trials ahead. He knew this was a pivotal moment in his life, a chance to uncover the secrets of his lineage and restore harmony to the worlds he was meant to unite. As he swam into the depths, he felt the weight of his lineage on his shoulders, but with it came a sense of belonging he had never known. The ocean embraced him, whispering promises of adventure, discovery, and the truth he had long sought. The darkness enveloped Elias as he descended deeper into the ocean, the water pressure increasing around him. A chill ran down his spine, but it wasn't solely from the cold, it was the anticipation of what lay ahead. The path before him twisted and turned, lined with strange, luminescent corals that pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm, illuminating the way to the abyssal trench. As he swam, he recalled Kalen's words about the trials he would face. What did the guardian mean by trials? Would they be physical, or would they challenge his understanding of himself and his place in the world? After what felt like an eternity, he emerged from the tunnel into a vast underwater cavern. The abyssal trench sprawled before him, a deep crevice in the ocean floor shrouded in shadows. Dark and foreboding, it seemed to pulse with a life of its own, and a sense of both fear and awe washed over him. Taking a deep breath, Elias steeled himself and swam toward the trench's edge. He could see strange shapes moving in the depths, glimmers of light dancing just beyond the reach of his vision. As he peered over the edge, the water around him shimmered, and he could hear the faint echoes of a haunting melody. Suddenly, from the darkness, a colossal figure emerged, An ancient sea serpent, scales glistening like emeralds, its eyes glowing with an ethereal light. It coiled gracefully in the water, its presence commanding yet regal. Elias's heart raced. This was one of the guardians of the abyss, and it seemed to know he had come seeking something vital. Who dares approach the abyssal trench? The serpent's voice resonated through the water, deep and rumbling. Speak your purpose, sailor, for many have sought the crystal of unity, but few have returned. Elias swallowed hard, trying to steady his nerves. I am Elias, a sailor on a quest to restore the bond between the human realm and the ocean. I seek the crystal to unite our worlds once more. The serpent studied him intently, its gaze piercing through the darkness. Your heart beats with the essence of the sea. But to earn the right to wield the crystal, you must prove your worth. You will face 3 trials, each designed to test your courage, wisdom, and compassion. Only by overcoming them can you claim what you seek. Elias nodded, determination burning within him. I'm ready. I will face the trials. With a flick of its tail, the serpent created a current that pulled Elias deeper into the trench. As they descended, the surroundings transformed. The water glowed a brilliant blue, revealing hidden wonders. Schools of shimmering fish darted past, and ancient shipwrecks lay scattered on the ocean floor, remnants of a forgotten era. First trial, the serpent announced, its voice echoing around them. The trial of courage. You will confront your deepest fears. They will manifest in the shadows of the trench. Face them and emerge unscathed, or be consumed by them. Elias felt his heart pound in his chest. What fears lay within him? The thought of confronting them was daunting, but he steeled himself, reminding himself of his purpose. The water around him began to swirl violently, and shadows danced across the walls of the trench. From the darkness, a figure emerged, a dark silhouette that twisted and contorted, taking the shape of a monstrous creature. It had the body of a leviathan, with sharp teeth and glowing red eyes, and it charged toward Elias with terrifying speed. Instinctively, he propelled himself backward, his heart racing. He had always feared the ocean's depths, the uncertainty of what lurked beneath the surface. But he knew he couldn't run. This was a part of him, a manifestation of his own doubts and insecurities. Elias steadied himself, recalling the teachings of his mother about courage. He remembered her words, bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's facing it head-on. With newfound resolve, he steadied his breath and prepared to confront the beast. Leave me be, Elias shouted, his voice echoing through the water. I am not afraid of you. As he declared his defiance, the creature hesitated, its form flickering. Elias felt a surge of power as he embraced his fear, transforming it into determination. The beast lunged again, but this time, Elias swam forward, meeting it head-on. He reached out, and as their forms collided, a blinding light enveloped them. The beast recoiled, and in that moment, Elias understood, it was not an external enemy but a reflection of his own fear of failure, of being unworthy. With every ounce of courage within him, he surged past the creature, feeling it dissipate into a cloud of shimmering light. Elias emerged from the encounter breathless but triumphant. The serpent swam beside him, its expression one of approval. You have faced your first trial, young sailor. Courage is a powerful ally, and you have proven that you can harness it. As he caught his breath, the serpent continued, but the path is not yet clear. Prepare yourself for the second trial, the trial of wisdom. You will face riddles that guard the next step of your journey. Solve them, and you shall proceed. Elias nodded, still trembling from the encounter but filled with a sense of accomplishment. He knew this was only the beginning, and he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. Elias swam alongside the ancient sea serpent, the thrill of victory from his first trial still coursing through him. They navigated deeper into the abyssal trench, the water darkening as they descended further. The serpent led him to a clearing illuminated by bioluminescent plants that glowed softly in hues of green and blue, casting an enchanting light over the scene. In the center of the clearing stood a massive stone archway, intricately carved with symbols of forgotten languages and ancient runes. Welcome to the Hall of Riddles, the serpent announced, its voice resonating with authority. Here lies the second trial, the trial of wisdom. To proceed, you must answer 3 riddles posed by the guardian of knowledge. Fail, and you will be trapped in this abyss forever. Elias nodded, steeling himself. He understood the importance of this trial. Wisdom was not merely about knowledge but also about understanding oneself and the world around him. He took a deep breath, focused on the glowing plants, and prepared himself. As they approached the archway, a figure materialized from the shadows. A majestic creature resembling a giant octopus, with deep sapphire skin and eyes that sparkled like the stars above. Its arms flowed gracefully in the water, each one adorned with glimmering shells and pearls. "Welcome, seeker of truths," the guardian of knowledge spoke, its voice smooth and melodic. "You wish to proceed to the next stage of your journey. To do so, you must answer my riddles. Here is your first question. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Elias furrowed his brow, thinking deeply. The riddle echoed in his mind, and he realized that it wasn't just a test of knowledge but a challenge to look beyond the surface. He recalled tales from his childhood about the whispers of the ocean carried by the wind, how the sea itself communicated through the rustling of waves and the shifting tides. "An echo," he replied confidently. The guardian's eyes shimmered approvingly. "Correct. You possess the wisdom of understanding." It gestured for him to continue, its arms undulating gracefully. "Now for your second riddle. I am not alive, but I can grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Elias pondered the riddle carefully. The phrasing struck a chord within him, and he considered the elements of nature. "Fire," he declared. With a flicker of its tentacle, the guardian confirmed, "Well done. You navigate the waters of wisdom with ease." The atmosphere shifted slightly, the plant's light glowing brighter, encouraging him. The guardian continued, "Now for the final question, a true test of your understanding of the heart. The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?" Elias felt the weight of the riddle. He reflected on his journey and the sacrifices he had made along the way. As he recalled moments of leaving behind the familiar shores of his village, a realization dawned on him. "Footsteps," he answered, a smile creeping across his face. The guardian's laughter rang out, echoing through the cavern. "Indeed, you have passed the trial of wisdom, young sailor. Your journey has brought you not just knowledge but also insight into your heart." The ground trembled slightly as the archway began to shimmer with energy, the symbols glowing brighter. "You have proven that wisdom is as important as courage. Now you may proceed to the next stage of your quest." Elias felt a sense of relief wash over him. He had faced his fears and used his intellect to overcome challenges. The guardian extended an arm, and a portal of shimmering light opened before him. "Beyond this portal lies the final trial," it said. "Prepare yourself, for the trial of compassion awaits. Only by demonstrating your true heart can you claim the crystal of unity." Elias nodded, knowing that this trial would require him to connect deeply with others, to show empathy and kindness. He felt ready, determined to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead. As he stepped through the portal, the world around him shifted. He found himself in a serene underwater garden, filled with vibrant coral reefs and schools of colorful fish. The atmosphere was tranquil, yet a sense of urgency hung in the water. In the center of the garden stood a beautiful mermaid with long flowing hair, her eyes reflecting the ocean's depths. She looked sorrowful, her expression tinged with despair. Elias swam closer, sensing her pain. "What troubles you, guardian of these waters?" he asked gently. She turned to him, her voice trembling. "I am Liriel, keeper of this garden. I once nurtured these corals, but now they wither and my heart aches for them. The balance of the ocean has been disrupted, and I fear I cannot restore it." Elias felt a pang of empathy for her plight. He understood the connection between their worlds and how their fates were intertwined. "I will help you," he promised. "Together we can bring life back to this garden." Liriel's eyes brightened with hope. "You would do that for me? But how?" Elias gestured toward the coral. "Perhaps we can find a way to revive them, to restore the bond between your realm and the surface. The crystal of unity may hold the answer, but I need your guidance." The mermaid nodded, determination blossoming within her. Let us work together. With compassion and unity, we can heal not just this garden but the entire ocean. With Liriel by his side, Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose. The underwater garden, once vibrant and full of life, now lay muted and gray. The coral reefs, which should have been bursting with color, appeared dull and lifeless. He understood that the first step toward restoring the garden lay in understanding what had caused its decline. "Tell me, Liriel," Elias began as they swam together, "what happened to your garden? Was there a change in the ocean?" Liriel sighed, her long hair flowing like seaweed in the current. "It began several moons ago. An unnatural force stirred in the depths, disrupting the balance of our ecosystem. The waters became murky and the sunlight was blocked. Many sea creatures fled and the corals lost their color. I fear it was the work of a dark sorcerer who has taken residence in the depths of the abyssal trench." Elias's heart sank. A sorcerer, a malevolent force, had upset the harmony of the ocean. "We must confront this sorcerer and restore the balance," he declared, feeling the weight of responsibility. "But first, let's heal what we can hear." Together they explored the garden, searching for signs of life. Liriel pointed to patches of coral that still glimmered faintly. "These are the last remnants of the living corals," she explained. "If we can nurture them back to health, they might spread their vitality throughout the garden." Elias examined the coral closely, taking note of its condition. "We'll need to gather resources from around the garden," he said. "Perhaps we can find some healing herbs or nutrients that can aid in their recovery." With Liriel guiding him, they swam through the garden, discovering various underwater plants and vibrant sea anemones that still thrived despite the bleakness surrounding them. Each plant held the potential for healing, and Elias carefully harvested them, filling a pouch made from kelp. As they worked together, Liriel shared her knowledge of the ocean and its secrets. "The ocean is alive, Elias. It breathes and pulses with energy. If we listen closely, we can hear its heartbeat." Elias felt a connection to her words, realizing that his journey was not just about finding the underwater kingdom but also about forming bonds with its inhabitants. He began to understand the true nature of compassion, not just in action but in the willingness to listen and learn. With their pouch filled, they returned to the ailing coral. "Let's start with this patch," Liriel suggested, pointing to a cluster of coral that had lost its brilliant hues. Elias carefully spread the nutrients they had gathered around the base of the coral, and Liriel infused it with her gentle magic, her fingers glowing with ethereal light. At first, nothing seemed to happen, but then a soft glow began to emanate from the coral. The colors flickered like a dying flame, but with each pulse of light, it grew stronger, bursting forth with vibrant reds, oranges, and yellows. "It's working," Liriel exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with joy. "The life is returning." Elias felt exhilarated as he watched the coral thrive. They moved from patch to patch, repeating their efforts, and soon the garden began to transform. Colors returned, filling the water with brilliant shades. Schools of fish, drawn by the revival of the corals, swam back, darting through the vibrant reefs. "Look," Liriel pointed, her voice filled with excitement. "The life is returning to our home." The garden, once a shadow of its former self, now pulsed with energy. As they swam through the blossoming coral, Elias felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Yet, in the back of his mind, he knew their work was not complete. The dark sorcerer still loomed, a threat that needed to be addressed. As they finished the last of the healing, Liriel turned to him, her expression serious. "Elias, while we have done much here, the true balance of the ocean will not be restored until we confront the sorcerer. He is the source of this suffering." Elias nodded, the gravity of the situation settling in. "I agree. We must find a way to confront him. Do you know where he resides?" Liriel's expression hardened. "Deep within the abyssal trench, past the Guardian's Hall. But be warned, the sorcerer is powerful and cunning. He has taken control of the currents and can manipulate them to his advantage." Determination surged within Elias. "We will face him together. With your knowledge and my resolve, we can bring an end to his reign of darkness." With the garden rejuvenated and the support of the underwater life, Elias and Liriel prepared to embark on their next adventure, the final confrontation with the sorcerer. They swam side by side, the glowing corals illuminating their path as they ventured deeper into the depths of the ocean. Elias and Liriel propelled themselves deeper into the ocean, each stroke pulling them further away from the light and warmth of the garden they had just restored. The vibrant colors of the coral faded into shadowy hues as they approached the abyssal trench, a place shrouded in mystery and foreboding. Elias felt a shiver run through him. The cold, dark water pressed around them, and the weight of the ocean seemed to grow heavier with every passing moment. As they descended, the landscape transformed dramatically. The once familiar ocean floor became jagged and treacherous, with sharp rocks jutting out like the teeth of a giant beast. Strange, bioluminescent creatures flickered in the darkness, casting an eerie glow that barely pierced the deep blue gloom. Elias couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "Stay close, Elias," Liriel whispered, her voice barely rising above the soft murmur of the water. "The sorcerer's magic has corrupted these waters. We must be vigilant." They swam cautiously, glancing at every flicker and shadow. The swirling currents began to thicken, swirling around them like an invisible tide, making it difficult to maintain their course. Elias gritted his teeth against the oppressive darkness, knowing that somewhere in this abyss lay the source of their troubles. After what felt like hours, they reached the edge of the Guardian's Hall. The entrance loomed before them, a massive archway carved into the stone, adorned with ancient symbols and shimmering crystals. However, the beauty of the entrance was marred by a sense of dread. An unsettling silence enveloped them, broken only by the faintest echo of distant, haunting whispers. "Are you ready?" Liriel asked, her gaze fixed on the archway. There was a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes, but it was quickly replaced by determination. Elias nodded, the resolve in his chest hardening. "We have to do this. For the ocean. For your home." As they entered the Guardian's Hall, the air became colder, the water darker. Shadows danced along the walls, and Elias felt the temperature drop sharply. The hall itself was vast and empty, lined with towering columns that seemed to stretch endlessly toward the unseen ceiling. Each column was intricately carved, depicting tales of ancient guardians protecting the ocean's magic. Suddenly, a booming voice echoed through the hall, reverberating off the stone walls. "Who dares enter my domain?" Elias's heart raced, but he stood firm. "We are here to confront you. Your darkness has spread through the ocean, and we will put an end to it." A figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in darkness, his features obscured by a hood. As he stepped into the dim light, Elias felt a chill run down his spine. The sorcerer was tall and gaunt, with eyes that glimmered like shards of ice. A sinister smile curled on his lips as he regarded them. "Ah, a sailor and a mermaid," the sorcerer said, his voice dripping with mockery. "What foolishness brings you to my lair? You think you can challenge my power?" Liriel clenched her fists, ready to retaliate, but Elias held her back. "We've restored the garden you've damaged. Your hold on this ocean is weakening. We will not allow you to destroy any more of it." The sorcerer laughed, a chilling sound that reverberated through the hall. "You think you can challenge me? I am the master of the tides, the weaver of storms. Your little garden is nothing compared to the fury I can unleash upon you." Elias felt a wave of determination wash over him. "You may have power, but you underestimate the strength of unity. The ocean fights back. Its creatures are rallying against your darkness." The sorcerer's expression soured, and for a moment, Elias saw anger flicker across his face. "Foolish child. The ocean is mine to command. I can twist its very essence." With a swift motion, the sorcerer raised his hands, and the water around them began to churn violently. Whirlpools formed, dragging at Elias and Liriel, trying to pull them apart. The currents twisted and turned, creating chaos within the hall. "Stay together," Elias shouted, grabbing Liriel's hand. "We can't let him divide us." They focused on each other, their bond acting as an anchor against the sorcerer's dark magic. Drawing on the strength they had found in the garden, they began to swim together, pushing against the raging currents. As they fought, Elias felt a surge of energy coursing through him, bolstered by Lyriel's presence. The connection they shared was stronger than any dark force. "Lyriel, let's channel our energy together," Elias urged, thinking of the coral they had healed and the life they had restored. "We can fight back." Lyriel nodded, her eyes brightening with determination. They focused their energy, drawing upon the light and life they had nurtured in the garden. The swirling currents began to change, the darkness retreating slightly as they pushed back against the sorcerer's grip. "Impossible," the sorcerer roared, his voice filled with rage. "You cannot resist me." But they would not falter. Elias and Lyriel summoned the memories of every creature they had encountered, every vibrant coral, and every flicker of light they had restored. The hall pulsed with energy as they released it toward the sorcerer, illuminating the darkness that had clouded the chamber. "Your reign ends now," they declared in unison. The blast of energy struck the sorcerer, causing him to stagger back. The shadows around him flickered, revealing glimpses of his true form, twisted and grotesque, corrupted by his own power. With every ounce of their strength, they pressed forward, channeling the ocean's magic and their own determination into a single brilliant beam of light. As the clash between Elias and the dark sorcerer reached its peak, the underwater kingdom trembled under the weight of powerful magic. The swirling currents, once calm and inviting, now roared with ferocity, creating tumultuous waves that threatened to engulf the very fabric of their reality. Elias and Lyriel found themselves at the eye of this storm, where light and darkness intertwined in a spectacular dance of magic. The sorcerer, cloaked in shadows, unleashed a barrage of arcane energy that crackled through the water like lightning, aiming directly for Elias. "You think you can reclaim what is lost?" he sneered, his voice echoing through the depths. "This ocean belongs to me now." Elias, fueled by the knowledge of his lineage and the bond he had forged with the sea, stood firm. "No, it belongs to those who respect its power and beauty," he declared, summoning the energy of the ocean itself. He reached deep within, tapping into the very essence of the water around him, feeling the pull of the tides and the whispers of the ancient beings that resided beneath. Lyriel, sensing Elias's resolve, focused her own energy. "Together, Elias," she shouted, her voice rising above the chaos. As they joined their powers, a luminous shield enveloped them, shimmering like scales of a mighty leviathan. The sorcerer's magic collided with their united force, creating a brilliant explosion of light that lit up the dark waters, illuminating the ancient ruins around them. In that moment, Elias caught a glimpse of the underwater kingdom's former glory, the grand palaces, vibrant gardens, and schools of fish that danced in perfect harmony. The memories of what was lost surged within him, igniting a fire of determination. "We can restore this place," he shouted, channeling his thoughts into the magic they wielded. With a surge of energy, the shield expanded, pushing back against the sorcerer's attack. The dark figure faltered for a moment, surprise flickering across his face. Seizing the opportunity, Elias and Lyriel directed their combined magic toward him, unleashing a wave of light and energy that crashed against the sorcerer like a tidal wave. The force of their magic shattered the dark tendrils of the sorcerer's power, scattering them like leaves in the wind. In that instant, Elias saw the truth of his heritage reflected in the eyes of the ocean's guardians, who swam closer, their forms majestic and ethereal. They were the spirits of his ancestors, and they had come to aid him in this final battle. With their help, Elias and Lyriel summoned a massive torrent of water that spiraled around them, taking the shape of a great sea serpent, its eyes glowing with ancient wisdom. This magnificent creature surged toward the sorcerer, who, for the first time, looked genuinely fearful. "Enough," he bellowed, but it was too late. The sea serpent coiled around him, and with a final surge of power, it pulled him into the depths, vanishing into the dark abyss of the ocean. As the sorcerer's presence faded, the waters calmed and a profound silence enveloped the kingdom. The colors of the corals and the brilliance of the fish returned, brighter than before. The dark clouds that had shrouded the kingdom began to dissipate, revealing the beautiful, starlit sea above. Elias and Lyriel floated in the tranquil water, gasping for breath, their hearts racing from the intensity of the confrontation. They looked around in disbelief, marveling at the rebirth of the kingdom. The ruins began to glow, shimmering with a newfound energy, as if thanking them for their courage. "Did we really do it?" Lyriel asked, her voice a mixture of awe and disbelief. Elias nodded, his heart swelling with pride and relief. "We did. Together we freed this kingdom from its curse." The ancient guardians swam closer, their forms radiating light. They surrounded Elias and Lyriel, their melodic voices resonating through the water. "You have proven yourselves worthy. The ocean's secrets are now yours to protect. With the sorcerer gone, harmony can return to our realm." As the guardian spoke, a vibrant aura enveloped Elias, granting him a deeper connection to the sea and its mysteries. He could feel the pulse of the tides, the ebb and flow of life within the waters, and the stories of countless generations echoing in his mind. In that moment, he realized that his journey was far from over. While they had defeated the sorcerer, there were still mysteries to uncover and responsibilities to embrace. With Lyriel by his side and the support of the ocean's guardians, Elias felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. "Let's explore this kingdom," he said, a grin spreading across his face. "There's so much more to discover." As they swam deeper into the underwater kingdom, Elias couldn't help but feel a sense of belonging. The ocean was no longer just a place of adventure. It was a part of him, woven into the very fabric of his identity. They would uncover the secrets of the ocean together, and with every discovery, Elias would learn more about his lineage, his purpose, and the legacy he was destined to protect. As Elias and Lyriel delved deeper into the heart of the underwater kingdom, they were greeted by a breathtaking sight. The once dim ruins transformed into a vibrant tapestry of life. Corals of every imaginable color stretched like majestic pillars towards the surface, and schools of fish darted through the water, their scales glinting in hues of gold and silver. The air buzzed with a melodic hum, resonating from the ancient structures that surrounded them. "Look at this place," Lyriel whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's beautiful." Elias nodded, his heart racing with excitement. "It feels alive," he replied, feeling a connection to every living being around him. "I never imagined something so magnificent existed beneath the waves." They swam past arched doorways and crumbling columns, each one telling a story of the kingdom's former glory. The air was thick with magic, pulsing like a heartbeat, resonating with the echoes of those who had come before. As they ventured further, they stumbled upon an enormous central chamber, illuminated by an otherworldly light filtering through an expansive dome made entirely of translucent shells. In the center of the chamber stood a grand throne, intricately carved from coral and adorned with pearls and gems that sparkled like stars. It was an unmistakable symbol of royalty and power, a throne that once belonged to the rulers of this kingdom. As Elias and Lyriel approached, they could feel the energy radiating from it, beckoning them closer. "Elias, do you think?" Lyriel began, her voice trailing off as she sensed the significance of the throne. Elias stepped forward, his heart pounding in his chest. He could almost hear the whispers of ancient kings and queens echoing through time. "I think this was once the seat of power for the oceanic crown," he said, placing a hand on the cool, smooth surface. Suddenly, a shimmering figure emerged from the throne, a spectral image of a regal sea queen, her flowing hair made of seaweed and her gown woven from the finest coral. Her eyes were deep and wise, reflecting the light of the ocean's mysteries. "You have come," she intoned, her voice a gentle current that filled the chamber. "You who are of the sea and the stars have returned to reclaim your birthright." Elias felt a wave of emotions wash over him. "Oh, I'm not sure what that means," he stammered, feeling both awe and confusion. The Sea Queen smiled warmly. "Your lineage is intertwined with the history of this kingdom. Your ancestors protected these waters, and now the time has come for you to continue their legacy." She gestured around the chamber, and visions began to swirl before Elias and Lyriel. Images of grand celebrations, fierce battles against dark forces, and the harmonious coexistence of sea creatures and merfolk. "Long ago our kingdom flourished, but the darkness that plagued us has returned. It is not enough to have defeated the sorcerer. The heart of the ocean needs healing. What can we do?" Lyriel asked, stepping closer to Elias, her determination shining through. The ocean is a living entity, the queen explained. It is connected to all who dwell within it. To restore balance, you must gather the 4 sacred relics that were lost when the darkness first fell upon us. Each relic holds a piece of the ocean's essence. Only then can you awaken the true power of the kingdom. Elias exchanged a glance with Liriel, a mix of excitement and trepidation coursing through him. What are these relics? He asked, eager to learn more. The Sea Queen raised her hand, and an ethereal map unfurled in front of them, shimmering with vibrant colors. The first relic lies in the Trench of Echoes, where the sound of lost songs lingers. The second can be found in the Grotto of Whispers, where secrets are kept in the currents. The third rests among the ruins of time, a place where moments are captured in waves. The final relic is hidden in the heart of the storm, where the fiercest tempests rage. Elias felt a surge of purpose. We'll find them, he promised, determination flooding his veins. We'll restore the kingdom. The queen nodded, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Your journey will not be easy. Each relic is guarded by challenges that will test your courage, wisdom, and unity. But remember, the bond you share with the ocean will guide you. With that, the spectral figure began to fade, her last words echoing in the chamber. Trust in yourselves, and the ocean will reveal its secrets. Your destiny awaits, children of the tide. As the light of the queen vanished, Elias and Liriel found themselves alone in the grand chamber, the map hovering in the water before them. They exchanged resolute looks, ready to embark on the next leg of their journey. Let's start with the Trench of Echoes, Liriel suggested, glancing at the map. It's the first on our list? Elias nodded in agreement, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. Together, we can face whatever challenges lie ahead. With renewed determination, they set off, swimming deeper into the heart of the kingdom, where adventure awaited and the mysteries of the ocean unfolded before them. The world outside was filled with possibilities, and as they prepared to face the trials that awaited them, Elias couldn't shake the feeling that their destinies were intertwined with the very essence of the ocean itself. As Elias and Liriel swam towards the Trench of Echoes, the surroundings began to change dramatically. The vibrant colors of the underwater kingdom faded into darker shades of blue and green, as the light from above grew dimmer. The water around them felt colder, and an eerie silence enveloped them, broken only by the gentle sound of their own breaths. Are you sure this is the right way? Liriel asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Elias nodded, glancing at the map that shimmered before them. The lines and markings were intricate, detailing their path to the trench. It has to be. The Trench of Echoes is a natural formation. It should be just ahead. As they ventured deeper, a sudden current swept through the water, causing Elias and Liriel to momentarily lose their balance. They exchanged wary glances, sensing that the ocean was alive with mysteries yet to be unveiled. Just then, the shape of the trench appeared before them, an immense chasm cutting through the ocean floor, framed by towering underwater cliffs. Wow, Liriel breathed, staring in awe. It's massive. The trench yawned before them like an open mouth, leading into an abyss of shadows and secrets. Elias felt a shiver of anticipation run through him. We need to find the center of the trench. That's where the echoes will be strongest, he said, pushing aside any lingering fear. Together, they dove into the trench, the walls rising on either side like ancient sentinels guarding a forgotten realm. As they descended, the water began to vibrate with a soft hum, a melody that seemed to resonate from the depths. Elias closed his eyes, letting the sound wash over him. It was haunting yet beautiful, a chorus of voices intertwined in a harmonious echo. Can you hear that? He asked, opening his eyes and turning to Liriel. Yes. It's like a song, she replied, her eyes shining with excitement. But what does it mean? Elias focused on the sound, feeling it pull him deeper into the trench. I think it's guiding us, he said, and without hesitation they swam further into the depths. The melody grew stronger, enveloping them in a cocoon of sound. Each note resonated with the very essence of the ocean, filling Elias with a sense of belonging. As they ventured deeper, the trench began to open into a vast underwater cavern. The walls sparkled with bioluminescent plants, illuminating the space with an otherworldly glow. In the center of the cavern, a pedestal rose from the ocean floor, intricately carved with symbols and markings that shimmered in the light. "There it is," Lyriel exclaimed, pointing at the pedestal. "The source of the echoes?" Elias swam closer, feeling a magnetic pull towards the pedestal. As he reached out to touch its surface, the echoes intensified, swirling around them like a tempest of sound. The images of lost songs and stories began to flicker before his eyes. Visions of sailors singing to the stars, of merfolk dancing in the moonlight, and of battles fought in the name of love and freedom. Each image resonated with a deep emotional weight, stirring memories buried within him. "What is this place?" Lyriel asked, captivated by the spectacle. "It's a sanctuary of memories," Elias replied, overwhelmed by the emotions flooding through him. "It's where the ocean keeps its songs, its history." As he placed his hand on the pedestal, the echoes transformed into a vivid projection, showing the lost relic, a crystalline conch shell, glimmering at the heart of the cavern. "That must be the first relic," Elias realized, feeling a surge of excitement. "But how do we get it?" The echoes swirled violently around them as if responding to his thoughts. Suddenly, the pedestal began to glow, and the sound morphed into words, resonating in Elias's mind. "To claim the relic, you must first sing the song of the ocean. Only then will the relic reveal itself to you." "What song?" Lyriel asked, her brow furrowed. Elias closed his eyes, letting the echoes guide him. He recalled the tales his grandfather had told him, stories of the ocean's song, passed down through generations. Gathering his thoughts, he began to hum, letting the melody of the sea flow through him. Lyriel joined in, her voice blending with his, creating a harmonious duet that reverberated through the cavern. The echoes responded, intertwining with their song, growing louder and more vibrant. As their voices rose, the water shimmered around them, swirling with energy and light. With each note, Elias felt a connection to the ocean deepening, his lineage calling out to him. Memories of sailors and merfolk danced in his mind, urging him to sing with all his heart. They poured their souls into the melody, infusing it with their hopes and dreams, their fears and joys. Suddenly, the cavern erupted with a burst of light, and the pedestal shimmered with an intense glow. The echoes formed a tangible entity, and the crystalline conch shell emerged from the pedestal, floating gracefully towards them. "Elias, look!" Lyriel gasped, her eyes wide with wonder. Elias reached out, and as his fingers brushed against the conch, a surge of energy coursed through him. The moment he held it, visions flooded his mind, the ocean's history, its struggles, and its beauty. He could feel the magic of the relic coursing through his veins, connecting him to the ocean and his ancestors. With the first relic in hand, Elias turned to Lyriel, both exhilarated and determined. "We did it. Now we can restore the kingdom." But their triumph was short-lived. A dark shadow loomed at the entrance of the cavern, and an ominous presence filled the water. The echoes turned into a cacophony of warning cries, urging them to flee. "We're not alone," Lyriel whispered, her voice trembling with fear. Elias tightened his grip on the conch, ready to face whatever darkness awaited them. "We can't let it stop us. We need to find the other relics." As the shadow moved closer, Elias and Lyriel exchanged a determined glance. They were not just fighting for the underwater kingdom but for the legacy of the ocean itself. With newfound resolve, they propelled themselves towards the cavern's exit, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. As Elias and Lyriel darted towards the exit of the cavern, the water around them began to swirl violently. The shadow, a menacing figure cloaked in darkness, loomed larger, its presence chilling them to the bone. "Elias, we need to hurry," Lyriel urged, her voice tight with fear. "I know. Just keep swimming," Elias shouted back, his heart racing. The conch shell pulsed in his grasp, as if responding to the urgency of the moment. They broke through the mouth of the cavern, emerging into the open water, but the shadow was fast on their heels. It coiled through the water like a serpent, dark tendrils reaching out as if to ensnare them. Elias glanced back and saw it was a massive sea serpent, its scales glinting like obsidian in the dim light. "Why is it following us?" Lyriel gasped, her breath quickening. It must sense the relic, Elias replied, glancing at the conch shell. It wants to take it from us. Without a moment to lose, they shot upwards, desperate to escape the creature's grasp. The serpent surged forward, opening its jaws wide, revealing rows of sharp teeth glistening like knives. Elias's pulse quickened and instinct kicked in. He turned to Liriel, determination etched on his face. "Dive deeper," he commanded, and they plunged into the dark depths. The shadows enveloped them, and the water grew colder, but they had to evade the serpent. The echoes of their song still reverberated in Elias's mind, a reminder of their bond with the ocean. Drawing strength from it, he focused on the conch shell. "We can use the relic," he said, recalling the power it had shown when they sang the song of the ocean. "What do you mean?" Liriel asked, her eyes wide. "We can call on the spirits of the ocean to help us," he exclaimed, clutching the conch shell tightly. "It's worth a try." As the serpent swirled around them, Elias pressed the conch shell to his lips and began to blow. The sound that emerged was unlike anything he had ever produced, an otherworldly note that resonated through the water. It echoed deep into the ocean, summoning the ancient spirits of the sea. To his astonishment, the water began to shimmer with light, and ghostly figures emerged from the depths. Translucent dolphins, shimmering fish, and majestic sea turtles. They formed a barrier around Elias and Liriel, creating a shield against the encroaching serpent. "Keep singing," Liriel shouted, joining him. Together, their voices rose in a melody that intertwined with the spirits, blending harmoniously. The serpent recoiled, caught off guard by the sudden surge of power. Elias felt a connection to the spirits grow stronger, and he realized they were responding to their song. The more they sang, the more the spirits gathered, swirling around the serpent like a tempest. Elias and Liriel poured their hearts into the melody, each note a plea for protection and assistance. The serpent, enraged and disoriented, lashed out with a roar that reverberated through the ocean. It lunged at the barrier, but the spirits remained steadfast, their forms glowing brighter with every note. Suddenly, Elias felt the conch shell vibrate in his hand, sending a wave of energy coursing through him. A vision flashed before his eyes, an ancient underwater city bathed in light, filled with merfolk and creatures of all kinds, all thriving in harmony. "This is what we're fighting for," he thought. "We can't let it fall into darkness." With renewed determination, Elias and Liriel pushed their voices even higher, creating a crescendo that resonated through the water. The spirits surged forward, their collective energy forming a brilliant beam of light that collided with the serpent. The serpent screeched in agony, its dark form flickering against the radiant light. Elias could feel the tide turning, the ocean itself was responding to their call. Just then, a massive wave erupted from the spirits, crashing into the serpent and sending it spiraling backward. The force of the wave knocked the creature off balance, allowing Elias and Liriel to swim away towards the horizon of shimmering light where the ocean met the sky. "Is it gone?" Liriel panted, glancing back. "For now," Elias replied, his heart pounding with adrenaline. "But we can't stay here. We have to find the other relics." As they swam further away from the cavern, the glowing forms of the spirits surrounded them, guiding them towards safety. "Thank you," Elias called out, his voice filled with gratitude. The spirits twinkled like stars in the deep blue water, nodding as if to acknowledge their gratitude. The currents shifted gently as they emerged into an expansive underwater meadow, where vibrant corals and lush seaweed danced with the rhythm of the ocean. Sunlight pierced the water's surface, casting an ethereal glow over everything. "This place is beautiful," Liriel marveled, taking in the splendor around them. "It's part of the kingdom," Elias said, awestruck. "But we need to stay focused. We have to find the second relic, the one that will help restore balance." As they swam through the meadow, Elias studied the conch shell, trying to decipher its hidden powers. If the first relic revealed the song of the ocean, perhaps the next will guide us to the other relics, he pondered aloud. "Let's try it," Liriel suggested, her eyes sparkling with hope. "Maybe it will lead us to the next relic." Elias nodded, feeling the weight of the conch in his palm. "All right, let's sing again." They began to hum softly, allowing their voices to meld with the gentle sounds of the ocean. As they sang, the water around them responded, swirling and shimmering as if alive. Suddenly, the conch shell vibrated again, and a beam of light shot forth from it, illuminating a path through the meadow. "Look!" Liriel exclaimed, pointing to the glimmering trail. "It's leading us somewhere." Following the light, they swam with purpose, hearts racing in anticipation of what they might find. The echoes of the ocean filled their ears, urging them onward, guiding them through the beauty and mystery of the underwater kingdom. As they followed the luminous path, Elias couldn't help but feel a sense of destiny unfolding before him. The ocean was alive with stories waiting to be told, and he was determined to uncover every secret it held. Together with Liriel, he would restore the balance of their world and uncover the truth about his lineage. "Whatever happens next, we'll face it together," Liriel said, her determination matching his. "Together," Elias echoed, the weight of the conch shell in his grasp feeling lighter, filled with promise. As Elias and Liriel followed the radiant path through the underwater meadow, they soon discovered that the light grew brighter, illuminating vibrant flora and fauna that danced around them. Schools of fish darted past, their scales flashing like jewels in the sun, while colorful corals swayed in the gentle currents. Elias felt a deep sense of wonder as he gazed at the underwater world. This was a place filled with beauty, but also hidden dangers that they needed to be wary of. The light from the conch shell pulsed rhythmically, drawing them closer to a cluster of towering coral formations that resembled ancient spires. Each tower shimmered with colors that shifted and blended, creating a mesmerizing display of life. The song of the ocean swelled in Elias's mind, and he could sense that they were getting closer to the second relic. There, Liriel pointed toward a central spire that stood taller than the rest, its tip glowing with an otherworldly light. "It must be there." Eagerly, they swam towards the spire, and as they approached, the water around them began to hum. The sound was soft at first, but it quickly grew louder, resonating through the very fabric of the ocean. Elias grasped the conch shell tightly, feeling the power surge within it, guiding them forward. "Let's see what lies ahead," Elias said, his voice steady despite the excitement bubbling within him. They reached the base of the spire and discovered a wide entrance, framed by luminescent seaweed that swayed gently in the current. Without hesitation, they entered the cavern, their hearts racing with anticipation. Inside, the walls sparkled like the night sky, embedded with glistening crystals that reflected the light from the conch shell, creating a kaleidoscope of colors. As they ventured deeper, the melodic hum grew stronger, vibrating through the water like a heartbeat. "Can you hear that?" Liriel asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's beautiful," Elias replied, mesmerized by the ethereal sound. "It feels like the ocean is calling to us." They continued to swim forward, the path illuminated by the conch's glow. As they rounded a corner, they entered a vast chamber filled with intricate carvings depicting the history of the underwater kingdom. Scenes of merfolk and sea creatures living in harmony adorned the walls, their expressions full of joy and life. "This must be a place of remembrance," Liriel said, tracing her fingers along the carvings. "It tells the story of their people." Elias nodded, captivated by the artistry. "It shows how they revered the ocean, how they celebrated the balance between land and sea. This is what we're fighting to restore." Suddenly, a soft voice echoed through the chamber, pulling their attention. "Welcome, brave souls." Startled, they turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows, a majestic sea spirit, shimmering with the colors of the ocean. Her long hair flowed like seaweed, and her eyes sparkled like the depths of the sea. "I am Nareda, guardian of the relics," she said, her voice melodic and calming. "You have come seeking the second relic, have you not?" Elias and Liriel exchanged glances, awestruck by her presence. "Yes," Elias replied, stepping forward. "We seek the relic that can help us restore balance to the ocean and protect its secrets." Nareda smiled gently. "You have already proven your courage by facing the shadow of the serpent. The power you wield in the conch shell is a testament to your bond with the ocean. But to claim the second relic, you must complete a challenge that tests your unity and resolve." "What kind of challenge?" Liriel asked, her curiosity piqued. The relic you seek is the heart of the sea, a crystal infused with the essence of the ocean, Nareda explained. It lies within the depths of this chamber, but it is guarded by the tides of fate. You must navigate the currents and find it before the water's embrace takes it away. Elias felt a rush of determination. We're ready. Whatever it takes, we'll face this challenge together. Nareda nodded, her expression serious. Then listen carefully. To reach the heart of the sea, you must sing the song of unity. Only by harmonizing your voices and trusting one another can you traverse the shifting tides. Lyriel took a deep breath, her heart racing. We'll do it. We'll sing together. Nareda gestured towards the center of the chamber, where a pedestal emerged from the ground, its surface adorned with intricate carvings. Stand together and sing. Trust in your bond, and the currents will reveal the path. Elias and Lyriel positioned themselves before the pedestal, their hearts beating in sync with the rhythm of the ocean. They exchanged a glance, both feeling the weight of the moment. Elias placed the conch shell between them, its energy pulsing with anticipation. Are you ready? Elias asked, his voice steady. Always, Lyriel replied, her eyes shining with determination. They began to sing, their voices intertwining in a melody that resonated through the chamber. The sound echoed off the walls, growing in strength and harmony. The water around them began to ripple, and the chamber responded, illuminating their path with a soft, inviting glow. As they sang, the current within the chamber shifted, revealing a hidden passage that wound deeper into the heart of the spire. The more they sang, the more the currents responded, guiding them forward with gentle whispers. Elias and Lyriel swam hand in hand, their voices blending perfectly, creating a symphony that echoed through the water. The passage led them into a small grotto, where the light intensified, revealing a stunning crystal pulsating at the center, a magnificent heart of the sea. Look! Lyriel exclaimed, her voice filled with awe. It's beautiful, Elias breathed, captivated by the brilliance of the crystal. It glimmered like sunlight dancing on water, casting vibrant colors across the grotto. As they approached the heart of the sea, the light enveloped them, filling the grotto with warmth. We did it! Lyriel cheered, her joy infectious. Elias nodded, his heart swelling with pride. Together. As they reached for the crystal, the currents shifted once more, swirling around them as if to protect the heart. Stay focused, Elias urged, drawing upon the strength of their song. They sang louder, their harmony becoming a powerful force, pushing back against the encroaching currents. The heart of the sea pulsed in rhythm with their voices, responding to their determination. Finally, as the last notes of their song echoed through the grotto, the heart broke free from its resting place, floating towards them. Elias reached out, and as he grasped it, he felt a surge of energy course through him, a connection to the ocean that was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Elias, I can feel it, Lyriel exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. Me too, he replied, feeling the power of the heart melding with the conch shell. Together, they had united their voices and harnessed the essence of the ocean. As they swam back towards Nareda, the heart of the sea glowing brightly in Elias's hands, he felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. They had faced the tides, embraced the challenge, and emerged victorious. But he knew that their journey was far from over. The battle to restore balance had only just begun, and they would need to face even greater challenges ahead. Congratulations, brave souls, Nareda said as they re-entered the chamber, her voice filled with pride. You have proven your strength and unity. With the heart of the sea, you will be one step closer to restoring balance to the ocean. Thank you, Nareda, Elias said, his voice filled with gratitude. We couldn't have done it without your guidance. Remember, she said, her eyes shining with wisdom, the ocean holds many secrets, but it is your bond that will unlock them. Trust in one another, and you will find your way. With that, Nareda gestured towards the entrance, revealing a pathway illuminated by the light of the heart. As Elias and Lyriel swam forward, they felt a sense of hope blossoming within them, a belief that they could overcome whatever lay ahead. As they left the chamber behind, the ocean welcomed them once more, its currents shifting in harmony with their newfound strength. Together they would face the unknown, unlocking the secrets of the ocean and uncovering the truth of their lineage. With the heart of the sea pulsating in his grasp, Elias felt a profound connection to the ocean like never before. As they swam back through the glimmering waters of the underwater kingdom, he could sense the currents swirling around them, almost as if they were alive, responding to their every move. Liriel swam alongside him, her eyes filled with excitement and wonder. "What's next?" she asked, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "We have the heart. How do we use it?" Elias pondered her question. "I think we need to return to the surface first. There might be someone there who can guide us further. The relics are connected to our pasts, and maybe they can shed light on our lineage and why we were brought together for this journey." As they surfaced, the bright sunlight flooded over them, contrasting sharply with the serene glow of the underwater world they had just left. Elias took a deep breath, savoring the salty air, and felt invigorated by the energy of the heart, now tucked safely in a satchel at his side. "Look." Liriel pointed toward the horizon. "The ship is still anchored." They swam towards the ship, a sturdy vessel bobbing gently on the waves, its sails catching the breeze. As they neared, Elias noticed that several crew members were leaning over the side, worry etched on their faces. "Elias." "Liriel," one of the sailors called out, relief flooding his voice. "We thought we'd lost you." Elias climbed aboard, shaking the salt water from his hair. "We're safe, and we found something incredible." He quickly recounted their adventure in the underwater kingdom, explaining the heart of the sea and their encounter with Nareda. The crew listened in rapt attention, their faces lighting up with awe as Elias shared the details of their journey. "So what now?" the captain asked, his brow furrowed with concern. "You said something about your lineage?" Elias nodded, feeling the weight of the heart pressing against him. "I think it's time we seek out someone who knows about the ocean's history, someone who can help us understand why these relics are so important and what role we play in all of this." Liriel chimed in, "We should head to Coral Cove. There's a wise old man named Marin who knows all about the ocean's lore. He might have the answers we seek." Eager to learn more, the crew set their course for Coral Cove, a legendary spot known for its vibrant coral reefs and mystical tales passed down through generations. As they sailed, the sea glimmered beneath the afternoon sun, and Elias couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, as if the ocean itself was keeping a close eye on their progress. The journey to Coral Cove took several hours, but with each passing wave, Elias felt the heart of the sea growing warmer, almost pulsating in tune with his own heartbeat. He knew they were on the right path. When they finally arrived, Coral Cove greeted them with its breathtaking beauty. The cove was surrounded by steep cliffs, and the water was a brilliant turquoise, teeming with life. Colorful fish darted around the coral formations, and the air was filled with the sounds of laughter and joy from the villagers who lived there. Elias and Liriel disembarked and made their way to the village, where the local fishermen and merchants welcomed them with open arms. They could sense the warmth of the community as they shared stories and laughter, but Elias was focused on finding Marin. "Where can we find the wise man?" Elias asked a villager who appeared to be in charge. "Ah, Marin," the villager replied, nodding. "He resides at the top of the cliffs. Follow the path and you'll find him. But beware, he doesn't take kindly to those who seek him for selfish reasons." Elias and Liriel exchanged determined glances. They knew their quest was far from selfish. They were fighting to restore the ocean's balance and uncover their own truths. They climbed the winding path up the cliffs, each step bringing them closer to the mysterious figure who held the answers they sought. As they reached the summit, they were met with a breathtaking view of the cove, its vibrant colors stretching out before them like a living tapestry. At the edge of the cliffs sat Marin, a weathered old man with a long white beard that flowed like seaweed. He gazed out at the horizon, his eyes reflecting the depths of the ocean's wisdom. Elias felt a sense of reverence as they approached. "Marin?" Liriel called out hesitantly. The old man turned, a knowing smile spreading across his face. "I've been expecting you. The tides have spoken of your arrival." Elias stepped forward, heart pounding with anticipation. "We've come to seek your wisdom. We found the heart of the sea and wish to understand its significance and our place in this story." Marin nodded, gesturing for them to sit beside him. The ocean is a living entity intertwined with our fates. The heart of the sea holds the power of creation and destruction, depending on who wields it. It is not simply a relic but a reflection of the heart of the one who possesses it. Elias listened intently, feeling the weight of Marin's words. I want to protect the ocean to restore balance. The ocean can sense your intent, young sailor, Marin replied, his gaze penetrating. But you must first understand your lineage. There is a legacy of guardianship that runs through your blood, a connection to the ancient keepers of the ocean's secrets. What do you mean? Lyriel asked, her voice tinged with curiosity. Your ancestors were once part of the Council of the Tides, Marin explained, his tone serious. They were chosen to protect the ocean and its wonders. However, the council fell into disarray and the balance shifted. The heart of the sea is the key to reviving that legacy, but it requires unity and courage to wield its power. Elias felt a surge of emotions, pride, fear, and determination swirling within him. How do we unlock that power? How can we restore the council and the balance of the ocean? To unlock the heart's true potential, Marin said, you must gather the remaining relics and unite the factions of the ocean, merfolk, spirits, and creatures of the deep. Each relic holds a piece of the puzzle, and together they will lead you to your ultimate purpose. Elias nodded, the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders. We're ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Good, Marin replied, his expression softening. Trust in yourselves and in each other. The ocean will guide you, but it is your bond that will ultimately determine your fate. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the cove, Elias and Lyriel felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had been chosen for this journey, not just to restore the ocean but to uncover the truth about themselves. Thank you, Marin, Elias said, gratitude swelling in his heart. We won't let you down. As they made their way back down the cliff, Lyriel turned to Elias, excitement dancing in her eyes. We have a mission. We need to find the other relics and gather the guardians. Agreed, Elias replied, a smile spreading across his face. Let's prepare for the next leg of our journey. With their hearts full of hope and determination, they returned to the ship, ready to embark on the next chapter of their adventure. As the ship set sail from Coral Cove, Elias and Lyriel gathered the crew on deck, their faces illuminated by the fading sunlight. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation, and the salty breeze ruffled their hair, carrying whispers of adventure. Elias stepped forward, feeling the weight of the heart of the sea pulsing at his side, its warmth a constant reminder of their mission. All right, everyone, he began, his voice steady yet filled with excitement. We have a new purpose. We are no longer just sailors. We are guardians of the ocean. Our first task is to find the remaining relics of the ocean's power. Each one holds a piece of our history and our destiny. The crew erupted in cheers, their spirits lifted by the prospect of a grand adventure. Lyriel stood beside him, her eyes shining with determination. We need to find the relics, and I believe we should start by seeking the coral scepter, said to be hidden in the abyssal depths. Elias nodded, recalling the stories he had heard from sailors in taverns about the dangers of the abyssal depths, dark waters where sunlight barely penetrated, home to terrifying sea creatures and ancient mysteries. We must be careful. The depths are treacherous, but the coral scepter is vital to our mission. It is said to control the currents and hold immense power. The crew murmured among themselves, weighing the risks of venturing into such dangerous waters. The captain approached, a stern look on his face. We've heard tales about the abyssal depths. We'll need to prepare ourselves for anything. But if we're going to face the unknown, we must work together. Elias felt a surge of camaraderie as he looked at his crew. Exactly. We must rely on one another and the skills each of you brings. We'll navigate these waters as a united front. Each relic we gather will make us stronger. With the plan set, they spent the next few hours preparing the ship for their journey. The crew checked the sails, stocked supplies, and ensured their weapons were ready. Lyriel took the time to study the map, tracing the path to the abyssal depths with her finger, her brow furrowed in concentration. We should set our course for the eastern sea, she said, glancing up at Elias. The currents there are rumored to lead directly to the entrance of the abyssal depths. As night descended, the stars began to twinkle overhead, casting a shimmering light over the ocean. Elias stood at the helm, feeling the rhythm of the waves beneath the ship, a sense of belonging washing over him. This was where he was meant to be. "Prepare to set sail," the captain called out, his voice echoing against the stillness of the night. "We'll make for the eastern sea." With sails unfurled and the wind at their backs, the ship glided smoothly across the water. Elias felt the excitement swell within him as they ventured further from the safety of Coral Cove. He glanced at Liriel, who was standing by the side, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Are you ready for this?" he asked, curiosity lacing his tone. Liriel turned, her expression resolute. "More than ever. I can feel the ocean's energy. It's guiding us toward our destiny. We will find the coral scepter, and when we do, we'll be one step closer to restoring balance to the sea." Hours passed as they sailed under the blanket of stars, the gentle sounds of the ocean surrounding them. Elias and Liriel took turns keeping watch, sharing stories about their dreams and aspirations. With each passing moment, their bond deepened, forged by shared purpose and a common goal. As dawn broke, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, the crew spotted dark clouds gathering on the horizon, swirling ominously. A sense of unease crept over the ship as they approached the abyssal depths, where the water transformed into a deeper, more foreboding hue. "Stay alert, everyone," the captain commanded, tension evident in his voice. "We don't know what awaits us in these depths." Elias stood at the bow, heart pounding as the ship sliced through the water. The waves grew rougher, and the wind howled around them, warning of the perils that lay ahead. "We have to keep going," he said, determination firm in his voice. "The coral scepter is waiting for us." As they reached the edge of the abyssal depths, the sea seemed to swallow the light, plunging them into darkness. The water churned violently, and the ship rocked precariously on the waves. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed beneath the surface, sending a ripple of fear through the crew. "Look out!" someone shouted, pointing at the shadowy figure rising from the depths. Elias squinted into the dark water, trying to discern what lurked below. Just then, a colossal serpent-like creature broke the surface, its scales glistening like black pearls, eyes glowing with a menacing light. "Everyone brace yourselves," the captain shouted, but Elias felt an unexpected calm wash over him. The heart of the sea pulsed at his side, resonating with the power of the creature before them. "Wait!" Liriel exclaimed, stepping forward. "I can sense its energy. It's not attacking, it's trying to communicate." Elias watched in awe as Liriel extended her hand toward the creature, her voice steady. "We mean no harm. We seek the coral scepter to restore balance to the ocean." The creature hesitated, tilting its head as if contemplating her words. The tension in the air shifted, and Elias realized that they had stumbled upon a guardian of the abyssal depths, a protector of the ocean's secrets. "Can you guide us to the coral scepter?" Elias asked, his heart racing. "We seek to unite the guardians and restore what has been lost." The creature's gaze bore into Elias, and he could feel a connection forming. The heart of the sea began to glow, pulsing with energy as if responding to the ancient being. "You are not the first to seek the scepter," it rumbled, its voice echoing in Elias's mind. "But your intentions are pure. Please guide us," Liriel implored, her voice filled with hope. The creature nodded slowly, its long body gliding effortlessly through the water. "Follow me, guardians of the sea. The coral scepter lies deeper within the abyssal depths, but beware, for dark forces guard its resting place." Elias felt a surge of gratitude as he and Liriel exchanged determined glances. They had taken a step closer to their goal, guided by the very forces they sought to protect. As they descended into the depths, the waters darkened even further, and the light from the ship faded away. Elias could feel the pressure building around them, but with the heart of the sea radiating warmth, he felt an unwavering strength coursing through his veins. "Stay close," he called to the crew who were still on board the ship, eyes wide with wonder and apprehension. They had never ventured this far into the ocean's depths before, and he could sense their trepidation. With the guardian leading them, they traveled deeper into the abyss, the waters swirling with vibrant colors that seemed to pulse with life. Strange creatures flitted by, illuminating the darkness with bioluminescent hues. Elias marveled at the beauty of the underwater world, but he also felt a weight pressing on him, an urgency to find the coral scepter and fulfill their destiny. "Here," the guardian called, stopping before a massive coral formation that spiraled upward like a tower. "The scepter lies within. But beware of the darkness that protects it." Elias and Liriel approached the coral formation cautiously, its intricate design shimmering with colors that seemed to dance in the dark water. "What do you mean by darkness?" Liriel asked, her voice low. "A creature of shadow guards the scepter," the guardian replied, its tone grave. "It was once a guardian like you but was corrupted by its own power. To retrieve the scepter, you must face this darkness and restore its balance." Elias swallowed hard, feeling the weight of the challenge ahead. "We're ready to face whatever it takes." "Then proceed," the guardian urged. "But remember, light must always overcome darkness. Trust in the heart of the sea." With a nod, Elias grasped Liriel's hand, and together they swam toward the coral formation. The waters grew colder as they neared, and a deep sense of foreboding enveloped them. The darkness seemed to swirl around the coral, a living entity determined to protect its treasure. As they approached, shadows began to twist and turn, coiling around them like tendrils. The air thickened with tension, and Elias felt the heart of the sea grow warmer in his grasp, resonating with the energy of the darkness. "Stay strong," he urged Liriel, determination fueling his voice. Suddenly, a monstrous figure emerged from the shadows, a hulking creature with eyes as dark as the abyss, its scales glistening like obsidian. It roared, a sound that echoed through the depths, sending shockwaves of fear through Elias and Liriel. "Face me," it bellowed, its voice a mixture of rage and sorrow. "You cannot take the scepter. It belongs to the darkness." Elias felt his heart race as he steadied himself. "We're not here to take it. We're here to restore balance," he shouted, courage flooding his veins. "The ocean needs the coral scepter to heal." The creature hesitated, and Elias seized the moment. "We know your pain. You were once a guardian just like us. Let us help you." The creature snarled, but there was a flicker of uncertainty in its eyes. Liriel stepped forward, her voice soft yet firm. "We can cleanse the darkness within you. Trust us." As they spoke, Elias felt the heart of the sea begin to glow brighter, illuminating the depths around them. He closed his eyes, reaching deep within himself for the connection to the ocean's energy. "Together," he whispered, feeling Liriel's hand steady at his side. The darkness roared in defiance, but Elias and Liriel stood firm, their resolve unwavering. "We are guardians of the sea," they declared in unison, their voices rising above the chaos. The shadows surged forward, but Elias summoned the heart of the sea's power, channeling it through their bond. Waves of light burst from them, clashing against the darkness. The two forces collided, creating a spectacular display of energy that illuminated the depths. "Feel the light," Liriel shouted, her voice piercing through the shadows. "You can be free." The creature writhed, caught between light and darkness, its roar morphing into a howl of anguish. For a moment, the darkness threatened to consume them, but Elias held tight to Liriel's hand, their connection a beacon in the storm. "Together we can overcome this," he urged, pouring his heart into their bond. With one final push, the heart of the sea flared to life, engulfing them in brilliant light. The darkness began to recede, and the creature's form shifted, its scales losing their obsidian hue. It let out a final, heart-wrenching roar before collapsing into a swirl of shadows, revealing a figure beneath. Elias and Liriel gasped as the creature transformed into a familiar shape, a guardian of the ocean reborn from the darkness. "Thank you," it whispered, its voice trembling with gratitude. "You have freed me." With the creature now on their side, they turned toward the coral formation, the coral scepter glowing brightly within. Elias felt a surge of triumph as he reached out to grasp it, knowing that they had overcome a great challenge. As he lifted the scepter, its power resonated through him, connecting him to the very heart of the ocean. The waters around them shimmered with renewed life, and the guardian smiled, a look of hope returning to its eyes. "You are true guardians," it said, its voice full of reverence. With the coral scepter, you will bring balance to the ocean and protect its secrets. Elias and Liriel exchanged glances, the weight of their journey pressing upon them, but their spirits soared with the promise of what lay ahead. They had faced darkness and emerged victorious, ready to fulfill their destiny as guardians of the sea. Now, let's return to our ship, Elias said, determination igniting within him. We have much work to do. As they ascended from the depths, the guardians swam alongside them, guiding them back to the surface. The waters sparkled with newfound energy, and Elias felt the weight of the coral scepter resting at his side, a symbol of their triumph. When they emerged from the depths, the sun broke over the horizon, casting a warm golden light across the ocean. The crew cheered as they saw Elias and Liriel, the coral scepter held high. Together we have reclaimed the light. Elias called out, his voice ringing with joy. Liriel smiled, her eyes shining with pride. This is just the beginning. We have more relics to find and more darkness to confront, but now we know we can face anything together. As the ship sailed toward the horizon, the heart of the sea glowed brightly, its energy intertwined with the coral scepter, ready to guide them on their next adventure. The ocean was alive with promise, and Elias and Liriel knew that as long as they stood united, they could overcome any challenge that awaited them. With the coral scepter firmly in hand, Elias and Liriel felt a renewed sense of purpose. Their journey had only just begun, and the thrill of adventure coursed through their veins. As they set sail toward the horizon, the sky darkened and ominous clouds began to gather. Storms are brewing, Liriel noted, her gaze fixed on the shifting sky. We must be cautious. Elias nodded, his heart racing at the thought of facing yet another challenge. The crew, invigorated by their recent victory, buzzed with excitement but remained vigilant. Prepare the ship for rough waters, he called, directing the crew to secure the sails and batten down the hatches. As they navigated through the growing tempest, the winds howled like a restless beast. Waves crashed against the ship, sending sprays of salt water flying into the air. The ship rocked violently, but Elias held fast to the wheel, determined to guide them safely. Stay focused, he shouted over the roar of the storm. We've faced darkness, we can face this too. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning split the sky, illuminating a massive figure in the distance. Liriel squinted through the rain, her heart dropping. Is that a ship? The silhouette emerged from the shadows of the storm, a ghostly vessel, its sails tattered and torn, gliding through the turbulent waters as if untouched by the chaos around it. Prepare to board, Elias commanded, his curiosity piqued. They could either turn back or confront whatever haunted that ship. Liriel, sensing his determination, shared a resolute look with him. As they drew closer, Elias noticed the figure of a captain standing at the helm, his face obscured by shadows. Hold steady, he shouted to the crew as they approached the eerie vessel. The ghost ship appeared to be deserted, its deck littered with forgotten treasures and relics of the past. Liriel and Elias exchanged glances, both intrigued and cautious. What do you think happened here? She whispered, stepping lightly onto the ghostly ship's deck. Let's find out, Elias replied, his voice barely above a whisper. As they explored, the atmosphere grew heavy with mystery. The air crackled with energy, and the shadows danced around them, whispering secrets of the deep. They wandered through the cabin, the wooden walls adorned with carvings that told stories of ancient mariners lost to the sea. This ship must have a history, Liriel remarked, tracing her fingers over the intricate designs. Perhaps it's a warning, or a message. Suddenly, a figure materialized before them, a spectral form of the ship's captain, his eyes glowing like embers in the night. Who dares disturb my eternal watch? He bellowed, his voice echoing through the storm. We mean no harm. Elias stepped forward, his heart racing. We seek knowledge and the power to protect the seas. We are guardians. The captain studied them with piercing gaze. Guardians? He repeated, a hint of skepticism lacing his tone. What can you possibly know of the storm that rages in my heart? We have faced darkness, Liriel interjected, stepping beside Elias. We've reclaimed the coral scepter, and we wish to understand how to wield its power against the shadows that threaten the ocean." The captain's expression softened, the fury of the storm reflecting in his eyes. "The storm is not just the work of nature. It is a reflection of the turmoil within me. Long ago, I made a grave mistake, and I have been cursed to wander these waters ever since." Elias and Liriel listened intently as the captain recounted his tragic tale. He had once been a proud guardian, a protector of the seas, but greed had clouded his judgment. He had sought to possess the very powers they now sought to understand, and in doing so, he had unleashed a darkness that had claimed his ship and crew. "I can guide you to the source of this darkness," he said, his voice filled with regret. "But you must promise me that you will not make the same mistakes I did." Elias felt a surge of hope. "We promise. Show us the way and we will honor your legacy." The captain nodded solemnly, gesturing for them to follow. As they made their way to the ship's helm, the storm began to calm, and the ghostly vessel transformed. The tattered sails mended, and the ship's figurehead glimmered with newfound light. "The heart of the storm lies beneath the waves, in the eye of the tempest," the captain instructed, pointing toward a swirling vortex in the distance. "You must face your fears and confront the source of this chaos. Only then will you unlock the true potential of the Coral Scepter." Elias and Liriel exchanged determined looks, the weight of the captain's words hanging in the air. "Let's do this," Liriel said, her voice steady. With a renewed sense of purpose, they boarded their own ship, the ghostly captain guiding them through the remaining tumult of the storm. As they approached the swirling vortex, Elias could feel the power of the ocean thrumming beneath them, a heartbeat that resonated with his own. "Brace yourselves," Elias shouted as they entered the eye of the tempest, the world around them shifting dramatically. The winds howled once more, and they found themselves in a realm where reality blurred, a swirling maelstrom of light and shadow. At the center of the vortex, a pulsing orb of energy flickered, dark tendrils reaching out as if seeking to ensnare them. "This is the source of the darkness," Elias said, his heart pounding in his chest. "We must destroy it." But before they could act, shadows erupted from the orb, forming monstrous shapes that swirled around them, blocking their path. "Guardians," the captain's voice echoed in their minds. "Use the Coral Scepter. Unite your powers." With the scepter in hand, Elias and Liriel steadied themselves. The shadows roared and the vortex intensified, threatening to pull them into its depths. "Focus," Liriel urged, her eyes locked on the swirling darkness. "We are stronger together." Elias felt the heart of the sea resonate with the Coral Scepter, and he reached out, channeling their combined energy into a brilliant beam of light. "Now," he shouted as they unleashed the power together. The light struck the dark tendrils, illuminating the chaos, and the shadows began to dissipate, howling in fury. "Feel the light," Liriel called, her voice filled with strength. The orb of darkness flickered, and for a moment, Elias saw a vision, a glimpse of the captain's past, the ship, and the crew he had lost. "This ends now," Elias declared, pouring every ounce of strength into the scepter. With a final surge, the light exploded outward, consuming the darkness. The orb shattered, sending waves of energy rippling through the storm. The tempest quieted, and the swirling vortex began to collapse inward. Quickly, the captain shouted, urging them to escape the imploding chaos. They raced back to their ship, and as they reached the deck, the maelstrom erupted in a blinding flash of light. As the brightness faded, Elias and Liriel found themselves back in calm waters, the ghost ship dissolving into mist. The sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm glow over the ocean. "We did it," Liriel exclaimed, her eyes shining with triumph. Elias held the coral scepter high, its light pulsing steadily in his grip. "We faced the storm and emerged stronger. But this is only the beginning. We have more to uncover and more guardians to awaken." As they sailed toward the horizon, the sea shimmered with renewed life, and Elias felt a deep connection to the ocean and its mysteries. They had reclaimed light from darkness, and with each adventure, they would grow closer to their destiny as true guardians of the sea. The sun hung low on the horizon, casting a golden hue across the tranquil sea as Elias and Liriel sailed onward, buoyed by their recent triumph. The waves lapped gently against the hull of their ship, a stark contrast to the chaos they had just escaped. Yet, within them, the excitement of their adventures burned brightly, urging them to uncover more of the ocean's mysteries. As they navigated toward a cluster of islands shimmering in the distance, Elias felt an unshakable sense of purpose. "There's something about those islands," he mused, his gaze fixed on the lush green peaks rising from the turquoise waters. "I can't shake the feeling that we're meant to go there." Liriel nodded, her silvery hair catching the wind. "I sense it too. The ocean is guiding us and we must listen." As they approached the nearest island, they anchored the ship and prepared to disembark. The air was thick with the scent of salt and blooming flowers, and the sounds of exotic birds echoed through the trees. "Stay close," Elias advised, his instincts sharpening as they made their way inland. The lush foliage enveloped them, and as they ventured deeper, they stumbled upon an ancient stone archway, partially hidden by vines. Intrigued, they stepped through, finding themselves in a vast clearing surrounded by towering trees. In the center stood a massive statue of a mermaid, her expression serene yet commanding, as if watching over the land. "What is this place?" Liriel whispered, stepping closer to the statue. "It feels sacred," Elias replied, his heart racing. "Like a sanctuary of some kind." As they explored, they discovered carvings on the statue's base, depicting tales of the ocean and its guardians. Each image told a story of bravery, loss, and the bond between humans and the sea. Among them, one scene caught Elias's eye, a figure resembling himself, holding the coral scepter, standing alongside the mermaid. "This is me," he said, tracing the carved outline with his fingers. "But how?" Before Liriel could respond, a voice echoed through the clearing, rich and melodious. "You have come seeking knowledge, brave souls?" Elias and Liriel turned to find a woman emerging from the shadows of the trees, her presence ethereal. She wore flowing garments that shimmered like the surface of the sea, and her eyes held the depth of the ocean itself. "I am Seraphina, the keeper of secrets. You have been chosen for a greater purpose." Elias felt a mix of awe and trepidation. "Chosen? For what?" "To protect the balance of the ocean," Seraphina replied, her voice a soothing balm. "You have proven your strength and resilience, but the journey ahead will test you in ways you cannot yet imagine. The coral scepter is a key, but it must be used wisely. There are forces at play that seek to disrupt the harmony of the seas." Liriel stepped forward, curiosity sparking in her eyes. "What forces? How can we help?" Seraphina gestured toward the statue. "The ocean's heart is in peril. An ancient rival of the Guardians, known as the Shadow Leviathan, has awakened from its slumber. It seeks to consume the light of the ocean and plunge it into darkness." Elias's heart raced at the mention of the Leviathan. He had heard tales of the monstrous creature, an entity of pure malice that thrived on fear and despair. "What do we need to do?" he asked, determination igniting within him. "You must seek out the 3 sacred artifacts hidden across the islands," Seraphina instructed. "Each artifact holds a fragment of the ocean's heart, and together they will give you the strength to confront the Leviathan." "What are these artifacts?" Liriel asked eagerly. "The Trident of Tides, the Pearl of Wisdom, and the Shell of Echoes," Seraphina replied. "Each is protected by trials that will test your courage, your wit, and your connection to the sea. You must retrieve them to strengthen the coral scepter and prepare for the battle ahead." Elias and Liriel exchanged resolute glances. "We will do it," Elias declared. "We won't let the ocean fall into darkness." "Very well," Seraphina said, her eyes shining with approval. "The first artifact, the Trident of Tides, lies hidden in the Caverns of Whispers. Follow the map of the stars that you possess, for it will guide you. Trust in your bond and the magic of the ocean. It will lead you to what you seek." With newfound determination, they stepped back through the archway, the weight of their task settling upon them. "We're ready for this," Liriel said, her voice steady. "The ocean has chosen us for a reason." As they prepared to set sail once more, Elias glanced back at the statue of the mermaid, feeling an overwhelming sense of connection. "We will protect the ocean's heart," he vowed, gripping the coral scepter tightly. With the stars beginning to twinkle above them, they charted their course for the caverns of whispers, unaware of the trials that awaited them. Each wave that lapped against their ship seemed to echo their determination, whispering promises of adventure and discovery. As dawn broke over the horizon, Elias and Liriel prepared their ship for the journey to the caverns of whispers. The air was thick with anticipation, and the ocean shimmered beneath the morning sun, each wave whispering secrets only they could hear. Elias felt the weight of the coral scepter at his side, its presence both reassuring and daunting. It was a reminder of their mission, to protect the ocean from the impending darkness. Setting sail, they navigated toward a distant cluster of jagged rocks that jutted out of the water like teeth. The caverns of whispers were rumored to be hidden within these craggy formations, a place where the ocean sang its secrets in hushed tones. Liriel steered the ship, her eyes scanning the horizon as she followed the map etched in the coral scepter. "The map speaks of a narrow passage," she said, her voice filled with focus. "We must find it before the tides shift." After what felt like hours, they finally spotted the entrance, a dark maw between the rocks, shadowed and foreboding. Waves crashed against the sides, sending sprays of salty mist into the air. Elias felt a chill run down his spine, but he steeled himself. "This is it," he said, determination lighting his eyes. As they maneuvered the ship closer, the entrance loomed larger, the darkness within seeming to pulse with an otherworldly energy. With a deep breath, they stepped into the cavern, their surroundings instantly transforming from bright sunlight to cool, dim light. The air inside was thick with moisture, and the walls glimmered with bioluminescent algae, casting eerie shadows. "Stay close," Elias urged, gripping the coral scepter tightly. He led the way deeper into the cavern, the sound of dripping water echoing around them. The walls seemed to whisper as they moved, the sound a gentle murmur that sent shivers through Elias. It felt as if the cave itself was alive, recounting tales of ancient times. "Do you hear that?" Liriel asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Elias nodded, straining to listen. The whispers grew louder, forming words that danced on the edge of comprehension. They spoke of the ocean's history, of battles fought and alliances forged. But beneath the beauty, there was an undercurrent of sorrow, a warning of the darkness that threatened to consume everything. As they walked further, the cavern opened into a vast chamber, its ceiling soaring high above them, adorned with shimmering stalactites that glistened like stars. In the center stood a pedestal, upon which rested the trident of tides, its 3 prongs gleaming with an ethereal light. "There it is," Liriel exclaimed, her excitement palpable. She rushed toward the pedestal, but Elias held her back. "Wait," he cautioned, sensing something amiss. "This place feels too easy. There must be a trial." As if summoned by his words, the air around them shifted, and a low rumble echoed through the chamber. From the shadows emerged a figure, a guardian of the cavern, cloaked in robes of deep blue and adorned with shells and coral. Its face was hidden beneath a hood, but its voice rang clear and powerful. "To claim the Trident of Tides, you must prove your worth. Answer my riddle, and the artifact shall be yours." Elias stepped forward, steeling himself against the Guardian's gaze. "We're ready. Ask your riddle." The Guardian's voice was like the rolling waves, rich with authority. "I'm not alive, yet I grow. I do not breathe, but I need air. I have no mouth, yet water is my foe. What am I?" Elias furrowed his brow, the words swirling in his mind like a tempest. He glanced at Liriel, who was deep in thought. "It's a puzzle," he whispered. "We have to think this through." "Something that grows but isn't alive," Liriel murmured. "Could it be a fire? It needs air, but water extinguishes it." Elias's eyes widened as the realization hit him. "Yes, it's fire," he declared, turning back to the Guardian. "The answer is fire." The Guardian remained silent for a moment, the tension in the air thick enough to cut. Then a slow smile crept across its hidden face. "You are correct, brave souls. The fire of knowledge and intuition burns bright within you." With a wave of its hand, the pedestal glowed, and the Trident of Tides rose gently into the air, shimmering with a radiant light. Elias stepped forward, heart racing, and grasped the trident. It felt alive in his hands, humming with power and connection to the ocean. "Now you must leave this place, but beware, the trials are not over," the guardian warned. "The shadow Leviathan senses your approach. Time is of the essence. Use the trident wisely." With a grateful nod, Elias and Liriel turned to leave, the whispers of the cavern urging them onward. As they exited into the sunlight, the weight of their new responsibility settled upon them, intertwining with the thrill of their adventure. With the trident of tides securely in his grasp, Elias felt a surge of energy coursing through him, invigorating his spirit. The power of the ocean pulsed with each heartbeat, reminding him of his purpose. Liriel stood beside him, her eyes sparkling with determination, reflecting the golden sunlight that bathed the shoreline. The battle ahead loomed like a tempest on the horizon, yet they were ready to confront it together. "Elias, we must reach the heart of the kingdom quickly," Liriel urged, her voice laced with urgency. "The longer we delay, the stronger the shadow Leviathan becomes. The ocean itself seems to be restless." Nodding, Elias adjusted his grip on the trident, feeling its weight and significance. "Let's sail to the Coral Citadel. It's where the heart of the kingdom resides, and I believe we can gather more allies there." They quickly boarded their ship, setting sail for the distant silhouette of the Coral Citadel rising above the waves. As they navigated the glimmering blue waters, the ocean seemed to respond to the presence of the trident, calming the turbulent waves, creating a path as if guiding them to their destination. The citadel emerged like a dream, its coral towers sparkling in a rainbow of colors, reflecting the sunlight. Fish of every hue darted around them, dancing as if celebrating their return. But as they approached, the beauty was marred by a creeping shadow that hung over the citadel, dark and ominous. The closer they got, the more Elias could feel the tension in the air. "This isn't just the Leviathan's doing," Elias said, his brow furrowing. "It's as if the ocean is warning us." Liriel nodded, her expression serious. "We need to be careful. The Leviathan will not give up its hold without a fight." Upon reaching the docks, they disembarked and made their way through the bustling streets of the Coral Citadel. The citizens greeted them with a mix of hope and fear, their faces reflecting the uncertainty that had taken root since the shadow Leviathan's resurgence. "Elias, Liriel," a familiar voice called out. They turned to see Velos, the merman general, rushing toward them. His scales glimmered in the sunlight, and his expression was grave. "You've returned. We feared the worst. We have the Trident of Tides," Elias announced, holding it high, letting its brilliance illuminate the area. "But we need your help. The shadow Leviathan is gathering strength, and it's time we unite against it." Thalas's eyes widened, hope igniting within them. "With the trident we have a chance. The Council of Elders will want to convene immediately. We must strategize to repel the Leviathan before it strikes again." Guided by the Los, they made their way to the Grand Hall of the Council, its walls adorned with ancient murals depicting the history of the underwater kingdom, the great battles, the alliances forged, and the sacrifices made. As they entered, the elders stood at a circular table, their expressions somber. Elias, Liriel, one of the elders, a wise sea turtle named Orin, spoke. "We have felt the disturbance in our waters. Your presence confirms our fears. The shadow Leviathan has awakened, and it seeks to claim dominion over our realm." Elias stepped forward, determination radiating from him. "We need to unite our forces. With the Trident of Tides and our combined strength, we can confront the Leviathan and protect our home." The elders exchanged wary glances, weighing their options. "The Leviathan is not just a creature of brute force. It is cunning and manipulative," another elder warned, her voice soft but firm. "It can twist the very essence of the ocean against us." Liriel spoke up, her voice steady. "We must use the trident wisely. Its power can manipulate the tides, but we need to understand the Leviathan's weaknesses. We have to lure it into a trap where we can ambush it." After much deliberation, the council agreed to a plan. They would use the trident to create an illusion of a weak point in the ocean, drawing the Leviathan into a secluded area of the sea where they could confront it together. As the council session ended, Elias and Liriel felt the weight of the kingdom's hopes resting on their shoulders. They had prepared their strategy, but doubts still lingered in Elias's mind. What if their plan failed? What if the Leviathan was too powerful? Elias, Liriel said, noticing the worry etched on his face. We will succeed. We have allies now, and with the trident we can channel the ocean's might. Trust in our bond and in those who stand with us. With her words fortifying his resolve, Elias nodded. You're right. We've come this far together. We can't let fear dictate our actions. They spent the next few hours preparing for battle, gathering their allies and strategizing the final details. The ocean around the coral citadel hummed with energy as creatures of all kinds rallied to their cause. Merfolk, sea serpents, and even a few wayward dolphins eager to join the fight. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the water, Elias stood at the edge of the docks, the trident of tides in his hand. The shimmering relic seemed to pulse with life, matching the rhythm of his heart. Tomorrow we face the Leviathan, he murmured to himself, determination growing stronger with each passing moment. We will protect our home and uncover the secrets of our lineage. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the calm surface of the ocean, a deep sense of foreboding settled over Elias. The tranquil waters that had once been a source of solace now churned ominously, echoing with the whispers of ancient legends. The underwater kingdom had gathered its forces, readying itself for the confrontation that lay ahead. Elias stood at the helm of the ship, his heart racing with anticipation and dread. Word of Leviathan's impending approach had spread through the coral halls of the kingdom like wildfire. Merfolk warriors, adorned in shimmering scales and armed with spears forged from the finest coral and enchanted by oceanic magic, lined the shores. Their expressions were a mixture of fear and determination, and Elias felt the weight of their expectations pressing down upon him. He had not only become their protector but also their symbol of hope. At the forefront of the battle formation stood Marina, her long hair flowing like seaweed in the current, her azure eyes reflecting the fury of the ocean. She had trained tirelessly alongside Elias, teaching him not only the art of combat but also the depths of his own heritage. We must unite our powers, Elias. Only together can we stand against Leviathan, she urged, her voice steady yet laced with urgency. Elias nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. The ocean was alive around them, the waves crashing against the cliffs as if warning them of the chaos to come. I will fight alongside you, he vowed, his voice firm. We will protect our home. As darkness enveloped the sky, the first signs of Leviathan's emergence were visible. The water trembled and roared, sending ripples across the surface. A massive shadow loomed beneath, and the sea began to boil with rage. The warriors took their positions, forming a protective circle around Elias and Marina, their eyes fixed on the churning depths. Then, with a thunderous roar that shook the very foundation of the ocean, Leviathan broke the surface. Its colossal form, a writhing mass of serpentine scales and glowing eyes, was a sight to behold, terrifying and majestic all at once. Waves crashed against the ship, threatening to capsize it, but Elias steadied himself, his heart pounding in sync with the rhythm of the battle. Now, Marina shouted, raising her spear, its tip glowing with iridescent energy. The Merfolk warriors surged forward, their weapons glimmering in the twilight. A barrage of magical projectiles shot through the water, striking Leviathan's hide with flashes of light. The creature writhed in pain, its roar echoing through the ocean like a storm. Elias focused his energy, feeling the connection to the ocean and the power of his lineage surging within him. He called forth the magic of the tides, weaving it into a shield of protection for his comrades. The water swirled around him, forming a barrier that deflected the monstrous creature's retaliatory strikes. Leviathan thrashed violently, attempting to shake off the assailants. It retaliated with swipes of its massive tail, sending Merfolk flying through the water. One brave warrior, Garen, tried to distract Leviathan by darting around its head, but the creature's enormous jaws snapped dangerously close, forcing Garen to flee. Elias watched, horrified, as his fellow warriors fought valiantly, but the odds were against them. Together, Elias. Marina's voice broke through his focus, reminding him of their bond. She swam to his side, her spear at the ready. They had trained for this moment, and now it was time to unleash the full extent of their combined power. Drawing on the strength of their unity, they swam closer to Leviathan. "On my mark," Marina instructed, her eyes locked onto the creature's vulnerable underbelly. 1, 2, 3. With a synchronized thrust of their weapons, they propelled themselves forward, driving their spears into Leviathan's flesh. The creature howled, thrashing wildly as they held onto their positions. The water exploded around them, and Elias could feel the ancient power of the ocean coursing through him, mingling with the energy from his lineage. "Now, Elias, unleash the tide," Marina cried. In that moment, Elias felt an overwhelming surge of energy. He released his magic, summoning a torrent of water that surged towards Leviathan. The force was immense as waves crashed down upon the beast, binding it in place. The creature struggled, but Elias and Marina's combined power held it firm, the water swirling like a tempest around them. Leviathan's roar transformed into a desperate cry, reverberating through the depths of the sea. The other merfolk rallied behind Elias, adding their strength to the spell, the water glowing with a brilliant blue light as they fought against the darkness that threatened their home. Elias could see the ancient runes inscribed upon Leviathan's scales, a language lost to time, pulsating as they began to unravel the beast's defenses. He felt the connection to his heritage intensify, an understanding of his purpose dawning upon him. Leviathan was not merely a monster, it was a guardian of secrets buried deep within the ocean's heart, secrets that could change the fate of their world. "Remember who you are, Elias," Marina shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "You are more than just a sailor, you are part of this legacy." With a final, defiant surge, Elias embraced his destiny. He poured every ounce of magic, every fragment of his lineage into the spell, and the water erupted in a blinding flash of light, engulfing Leviathan. The creature's roar turned into a haunting wail, reverberating throughout the ocean as the battle reached its climax. As the light faded, the waters calmed, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. Leviathan lay still, its enormous form sinking into the depths as the warriors hesitated, unsure of what had just transpired. The merfolk exchanged glances, a mix of relief and disbelief washing over them. Elias, panting from the exertion, felt a deep sense of connection to the ocean around him. He had not only battled a formidable foe but had also uncovered a part of his identity that he had long sought. He turned to Marina, whose expression was a mix of awe and pride. "We did it," he whispered, a smile breaking across his face. But deep down, Elias knew that this was not the end. The secrets of the ocean were still waiting to be uncovered, and Leviathan was merely the guardian of those truths. As the stillness of the ocean enveloped them, Elias and Marina exchanged glances filled with both triumph and trepidation. The remnants of the battle lingered in the water, shimmering like scattered stars in the depths. The merfolk warriors began to gather, their faces a blend of relief and curiosity. They had witnessed something extraordinary, a victory against a legendary foe, and now the questions began to swirl like the currents around them. "What do we do now?" one of the warriors, a young mermaid named Lyra, asked, her voice tinged with excitement and uncertainty. "Leviathan is gone, but what secrets does the ocean hold?" Elias felt the weight of her question, understanding that this was only the beginning. The ocean had always been a vast expanse of mysteries, and now, with Leviathan defeated, it was time to delve deeper. "We need to explore the depths," he replied, his voice steady. Leviathan was guarding something important. "We must uncover what lies beneath." Marina nodded in agreement, her azure eyes shining with determination. "There are legends of ancient ruins and lost kingdoms hidden in the ocean. They could hold the answers we seek about your lineage, Elias." With their resolve strengthened, they rallied the merfolk. Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose, the energy from the battle still coursing through his veins. They had formed a bond that transcended the surface, and together they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. As they swam deeper into the ocean, the light from the surface gradually faded, replaced by the enchanting glow of bioluminescent creatures. Jellyfish danced gracefully, casting ethereal lights that illuminated the path before them. The ocean floor was a tapestry of vibrant corals, each one teeming with life and history. Elias couldn't help but marvel at the beauty surrounding him, but he knew they had a mission to fulfill. After what felt like an eternity of swimming, they reached a cavernous entrance, its mouth wide and inviting. "This is it," Marina whispered, her voice barely audible above the gentle lapping of the waves against the rocks. "The Cave of Echoes. Legends say it holds the wisdom of the ocean's past." Elias took a deep breath, the anticipation tingling in his veins. They entered the cave, the air thick with a sense of history. The walls were etched with ancient carvings, depicting scenes of battles fought long ago, of heroes and monsters, of the delicate balance between the ocean and the world above. As they moved further inside, the sounds of the ocean faded, replaced by a haunting melody that seemed to echo through the stones. Suddenly, they came upon a large chamber bathed in a soft, iridescent light. In the center stood an enormous stone altar, adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change with the light. On the altar lay a collection of objects, ornate shells, shimmering crystals, and a tattered scroll, its edges worn with age. Elias felt an overwhelming pull towards the scroll. "This must be it," he said, reaching out to pick it up. As his fingers brushed against the parchment, a warm sensation coursed through him, and the room seemed to come alive with whispers, as if the very walls were sharing their secrets. "Can you understand it?" Marina asked, her curiosity piqued as she leaned closer. Elias unfurled the scroll, revealing an ancient script filled with swirling symbols and illustrations that danced before his eyes. As he studied the writing, fragments of knowledge flooded his mind. This speaks of an ancient lineage," he breathed, realization dawning upon him. "It tells of the guardians of the depths, beings who wielded the power of the ocean and protected its secrets." Marina gasped, her eyes widening. "Guardians? You mean you're part of this legacy?" Elias nodded, feeling the weight of his ancestry settle over him like a mantle. "It seems my bloodline is intertwined with the ocean's magic. I have the power to protect it, to understand it. But it also says there's a darkness lurking beneath, something that seeks to disrupt the balance." "What kind of darkness?" Lyra asked, her voice trembling slightly. "The scroll doesn't specify, but it speaks of an ancient enemy, one that Leviathan was meant to keep at bay. If it has been freed," Elias hesitated, a chill creeping down his spine. "We must be vigilant. The battle against Leviathan was just a precursor to something much more sinister." Determined to uncover the truth, they continued to examine the altar, searching for further clues. The walls began to glow, revealing more carvings that depicted a struggle between light and darkness. Elias's heart raced as he connected the dots, recognizing the stories of battles that had shaped the ocean's history. "Look," Marina pointed to a particular carving. It showed a figure similar to Elias, standing tall amidst a storm, wielding the very elements of the ocean. "It's you, Elias. You're the prophesied guardian." The realization washed over him like a wave, both exhilarating and daunting. "I must learn to harness this power," he replied, a newfound determination igniting within him. "If I am to protect the ocean and its secrets, I cannot falter." But before they could delve deeper into the revelations of the cave, a tremor shook the ground beneath them. The chamber vibrated, sending ripples through the water, and the whispering echoes transformed into chaotic cries. "We must leave. Something is awakening," Lyra shouted, her eyes wide with fear. They raced back towards the entrance, the cave shuddering as if warning them of an impending threat. The melodies that had once seemed soothing now morphed into frantic wails. Elias's heart raced as he sensed a dark presence looming, something that had been stirred by their discovery. As they burst out into the open ocean, the sky above was overcast, thick with dark clouds that mirrored the turmoil within. The waters roiled, and from the depths, an ominous figure began to emerge, an ethereal silhouette with glowing eyes, gliding towards them like a shadow in the depths. "Prepare yourselves," Elias shouted, readying himself for the fight. "We face our next challenge." As the shadowy figure rose from the depths, the ocean churned violently around them. Elias could feel the pulse of the sea, thumping like a wild heartbeat in his ears. The silhouette grew clearer, revealing itself to be a colossal entity, draped in flowing tendrils of darkness that shimmered with a malevolent glow. It exuded an aura of ancient power and undeniable dread. "What is that thing?" Lyra shouted, her voice barely cutting through the tumultuous waves. "I don't know," Elias replied, his heart pounding with fear and adrenaline. "But it can't be good. We need to stand together." The creature loomed before them, its glowing eyes locking onto Elias with a penetrating gaze. The ocean seemed to still momentarily, as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for the confrontation that was about to unfold. Elias took a deep breath, channeling the energy of the ocean and the weight of his newfound heritage. He could feel the magic coursing through him, ready to be unleashed. "Stay close," Elias commanded as he summoned a protective barrier of shimmering water around them. "We will face this creature together." With a sudden surge of speed, the dark entity lunged at them, its form twisting and writhing through the water. Elias released a blast of concentrated energy, sending a wave of bright blue light crashing toward the creature. The collision created a brilliant explosion of colors, illuminating the surrounding waters and temporarily blinding the dark figure. "Now, strike!" Marina yelled, darting forward with Lyra and the other merfolk at her side. They attacked with everything they had, launching their own magical projectiles toward the shadowy foe. The battlefield erupted in a fierce clash of light and darkness, the ocean swirling with energy as they fought for their lives and for the future of the underwater kingdom. Elias could feel the strength of the merfolk alongside him, their unwavering determination fueling his resolve. Yet, despite their combined efforts, the creature remained relentless. It twisted through their attacks, countering with dark tendrils that lashed out like whips, striking the warriors and sending them tumbling through the water. "Elias, we can't hold it off much longer," Lyra cried, barely evading a sweeping shadow that nearly enveloped her. "We need to find its weakness." Elias narrowed his eyes, studying the creature's movements. Its form seemed to flicker with a pattern, a rhythmic pulse that echoed the chaotic energies of the ocean. "It has a heartbeat," he realized, his mind racing. "We must disrupt it." "How do we do that?" Marina asked, dodging a dark tendril that lashed out like a lightning bolt. "We have to focus our powers together," Elias shouted over the roar of battle. "If we can synchronize our magic, we might create a wave strong enough to break its connection to the darkness. Let's do it." Marina and the other merfolk nodded, forming a circle around Elias. They began to chant, their voices harmonizing in a powerful melody that resonated through the water. Elias joined in, channeling his energy into the formation. They needed to become one, their powers converging into a single force. The creature shrieked, sensing the change in the atmosphere. It turned its glowing eyes towards them, narrowing in on their unified energy. Dark tendrils began to writhe more violently, thrashing against the water as it prepared to retaliate. "Now," Elias shouted, feeling the surge of magic within them building to a crescendo. "On three. 1, 2, 3. With a simultaneous burst of energy, they unleashed their combined magic. A brilliant wave of light that surged forward like a tsunami, crashing into the dark entity with incredible force. The water erupted in a dazzling display of colors, blinding everyone in the vicinity. For a brief moment, silence enveloped them as the wave collided with the creature, illuminating the depths of the ocean like 1,000 stars. The dark figure writhed in agony, its form flickering and distorting as the light penetrated the very essence of its being. Elias felt the weight of the moment, the culmination of his journey, the bond forged with the merfolk, and the power of his ancestry surging through him. This was his moment, and he wouldn't let it slip away. As the wave reached its zenith, the dark entity let out a final ear-splitting shriek before dissolving into a cascade of shadowy particles. The water around them sparkled as the darkness dissipated, leaving behind a calm and serene environment. They had done it. Together they had triumphed. The merfolk erupted into cheers, their voices ringing with joy and relief. Elias turned to his friends, his heart swelling with pride. "We did it. We protected our home." Marina smiled, her face illuminated with the remnants of their magic. But the battle is only half the journey. We must continue to uncover the truth about your lineage, Elias. There are still secrets hidden in the depths. Nodding, Elias felt a new sense of purpose rising within him. They had faced darkness and emerged victorious, but the path ahead was still shrouded in mystery. Together, they would navigate the waters of destiny, unearthing the legacies that awaited them. As they swam back towards the Cave of Echoes, Elias couldn't shake the feeling that the ocean still held more secrets, and with every stroke he was one step closer to discovering who he truly was. As they made their way back to the Cave of Echoes, the ocean felt different, calmer yet charged with a lingering energy from their recent battle. Elias could sense the weight of history in the water around them, each ripple a reminder of the secrets that had yet to be uncovered. The vibrant colors of the coral reefs flickered as they passed, seeming to whisper tales of long-lost civilizations, and Elias felt an irresistible pull toward the heart of the ocean. "Elias, I believe you must connect with the heart of our realm," Marina said, breaking the silence as they approached the cave's entrance. Her eyes sparkled with a mix of determination and excitement. "Only then can we truly understand the legacy you carry." "What do you mean by the heart of our realm?" Elias asked, curiosity piqued. The phrase echoed in his mind, tinged with a sense of destiny. "Where is it?" Marina glanced at her fellow merfolk, who nodded in understanding. "There's an ancient artifact hidden within the cave, known as the Trident of Echoes. It's said to possess the wisdom of the ocean itself and can reveal your true lineage." Lyra chimed in, her voice laced with urgency. "The Trident has been protected for centuries. Only one with the blood of the ocean can wield its power. You need to be ready, Elias." Elias felt a surge of excitement mixed with apprehension. "How do I find it?" Marina led the way into the cave, the water darkening around them as they descended deeper. The walls were adorned with bioluminescent algae, illuminating the path with a soft, ethereal glow. The deeper they swam, the more Elias could feel the pulse of the ocean echoing through the cave, resonating with his own heartbeat. "Stay close and listen," Marina instructed, her voice barely above a whisper. "The cave is alive with the memories of those who came before us. If you listen carefully, you may hear their voices." Elias concentrated, allowing himself to attune to the sounds of the cave. The gentle lapping of the water against the walls, the soft hum of the currents, and faint whispers danced around him. He closed his eyes, focusing on the ebb and flow of the ocean, trying to find meaning in the sounds. "Can you hear them?" Lyra asked, her voice barely audible. "Yes," Elias replied, his eyes still closed. "It's like a chorus of whispers, stories intertwined." Suddenly, a sharp echo resonated through the cavern, silencing the whispers. Elias opened his eyes to see a shimmering light reflecting off the walls ahead. "What was that?" he asked, his heart racing. Marina gestured for silence, her expression serious. "That's a sign. We must be close." They pressed on, the light growing brighter with each stroke. Finally, they reached a vast chamber within the cave, and at its center, mounted upon a pedestal of coral and stone, was the Trident of Echoes. It glimmered with an iridescent glow, its three prongs elegantly curved, adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to dance in the light. Elias felt an overwhelming sense of awe wash over him. This is incredible," he murmured, moving closer to the artifact. As he approached, the air around the trident seemed to vibrate with energy, and he could feel the pull of destiny drawing him nearer. "This is where you must prove yourself," Marina said softly, her voice filled with reverence. "Only one who is truly of the ocean can touch the trident without consequence." Elias swallowed hard, stepping forward. The moment his fingers brushed against the cool surface of the trident, a jolt of energy surged through him, and he was thrust into a vision. A kaleidoscope of memories and emotions swirled around him. He saw ancient merfolk, their faces filled with pride, celebrating the unity of their kingdom. He felt the weight of loss as storms raged, tearing apart families and futures. In the midst of this chaos, he saw a familiar figure, a regal mermaid with flowing hair and piercing blue eyes. It was as if she were reaching out to him, her voice echoing in his mind. "Elias, you are of my blood," she whispered, her voice like a gentle current. You are the one destined to bridge our worlds and heal the fractures that divide us. Elias gasped, pulling his hand away from the trident as the vision shattered, leaving him gasping for breath. What was that? He asked, trembling. Who was she? Your ancestor, Lyra replied, her eyes wide with wonder. You carry her blood, her legacy. You have the strength to unite our worlds and restore the balance. Elias felt a rush of emotions, pride, fear, and a sense of belonging. He turned to Marina and the others. I have to embrace this. I can't run away from who I am. Then take the trident, Marina urged, her voice steady and encouraging. It's time to claim your legacy. With newfound determination, Elias grasped the trident firmly, feeling the surge of energy flowing through him. As he lifted it high, a radiant light enveloped him, filling the cavern with warmth and illumination. The voices of the ocean echoed in harmony, welcoming him into the fold of his heritage. I will protect this kingdom and bridge the gap between our worlds, Elias vowed, his voice resolute. I will honor my lineage and fight for the ocean's future. The merfolk cheered, their voices ringing with hope and unity. They had witnessed the awakening of a new guardian, one who would carry their stories forward and face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Elias stood tall with the trident of echoes in hand, he knew that his journey was only beginning. The ocean held countless secrets still waiting to be uncovered, and he was ready to dive into the depths of destiny. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the underwater kingdom, Lyriel felt a growing sense of urgency. The luminescent creatures darting around her seemed to sense her unease, their flickering lights casting playful shadows on the coral walls. The guardian had told her that she needed to find the heart of the ocean, the source of the kingdom's magic, to save both the realm and her own family's legacy. With determination fueling her, Lyriel ventured deeper into the coral labyrinth. The walls pulsed with life, vibrant colors dancing in rhythmic patterns. Fish with iridescent scales glided past her, curiously peeking at the intruder in their domain. Every now and then, she would catch a glimpse of larger sea creatures lurking in the shadows, their forms barely visible but their presence undeniable. Where could it be? She whispered to herself, her voice a mere bubble in the vastness of the ocean. She recalled the tales her grandmother had shared about the heart of the ocean, a gemstone said to be protected by ancient magic. It was rumored to shimmer with the essence of the sea itself, its power capable of healing, restoring, and, when misused, destroying. Suddenly, Lyriel's heart raced as she stumbled upon a colossal archway crafted from coral and sea glass, its intricate design hinting at its importance. It was adorned with carvings depicting the ocean's history, tales of battles fought and alliances forged. This archway seemed to beckon her, a gateway to something extraordinary. As she stepped through, the water around her grew warmer, and she felt an electric thrill in the currents. The surroundings shifted, and she found herself in a vast cavern lit by a soft blue glow. At its center lay a pedestal, and on it, a gem unlike any she had ever seen, the heart of the ocean. Its surface sparkled like the night sky, every hue of blue reflecting the depths of the sea and the light above. Lyriel, a voice echoed through the cavern, rich and melodic. She turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows, draped in shimmering seaweed and adorned with pearls. It was the guardian, her expression serious yet compassionate. You found it, but you must understand the responsibility that comes with wielding such power. What do you mean? Lyriel asked, her voice trembling slightly as she approached the pedestal. The heart pulsed gently, almost in sync with her heartbeat. I want to save our kingdom. I want to know the truth about my family. The guardian stepped closer, her translucent wings catching the light. The heart of the ocean is not merely a gem, it is a living entity. It responds to the hearts of those who seek it. If your intentions are pure, it will aid you. But if you seek power for selfish reasons, it can lead to devastation. Lyriel nodded, absorbing the weight of the guardian's words. I only want to protect the kingdom and uncover the truth about my lineage. My mother, she disappeared long ago, and I've spent my life searching for answers. I must know if I am truly a part of this world. With a wave of her hand, the guardian summoned a vision before them. The cavern shimmered and morphed, revealing scenes of the past. A young woman resembling Lyriel, her mother, standing defiantly beside the guardian, a glimmer of the heart in her grasp. Then the vision shifted to chaos, waves crashing, darkness consuming the light, and the heart being torn from her mother's hands. Your mother was the last keeper of the heart, the guardian revealed, her voice filled with sorrow. She sacrificed herself to protect it from those who wished to exploit its power. In doing so, she saved the kingdom, but her disappearance left a void. The truth hit Lyriel like a tidal wave. "She's alive, isn't she?" she whispered, hope igniting in her chest. "Somewhere, somehow, she's still out there?" "Yes, but to find her, you must prove your worth," the guardian responded, her gaze piercing. "You must awaken the heart's magic within yourself. Only then can you navigate the challenges ahead." With that, the guardian stepped aside, granting Lyriel access to the heart. She reached out hesitantly, fingers brushing against the cool surface. As she did, a surge of energy coursed through her, and visions flooded her mind. The ocean in its grandeur, the creatures that called it home, and a profound connection to her lineage that she had never felt before. Suddenly, a dark shadow loomed over the cavern. The water chilled, and Lyriel felt a tremor of fear as the guardian's face hardened. "We are not alone. The forces that seek to control the heart have found us." A figure emerged from the shadows, an imposing sea witch, her eyes glowing with malevolence. "Foolish girl, you think you can wield the heart's power? It will be mine," she cackled, her voice a harsh whisper against the gentle sounds of the sea. Lyriel's heart raced. "I will not let you take it," she declared, feeling the power of the heart pulse within her. She could feel the ocean's magic swirling around her, and she knew this was the moment she had been preparing for. As the witch lunged forward, Lyriel braced herself, calling upon the energy of the heart. Waves surged, and a brilliant light erupted from the gem, illuminating the cavern in a dazzling display. The clash of power sent shock waves through the water, creating a whirlpool of energy that engulfed them both. The fight for the heart of the ocean had begun, and Lyriel was ready to embrace her destiny. As the light from the heart of the ocean surged around Lyriel, she felt a new strength coursing through her veins. The water vibrated with energy, and she could sense the presence of ancient magic awakening within her. But before she could fully harness it, the ominous shadow of the Leviathan emerged from the depths. With a roar that shook the very foundations of the underwater kingdom, the colossal creature surged forward, its scales glinting ominously in the shimmering light. Its massive body twisted through the water with a grace that belied its size, and its eyes, like glowing orbs, locked onto Lyriel, filled with a mix of fury and hunger. "Foolish girl," the Leviathan bellowed, its voice a thunderous echo that reverberated through the cavern. "You dare stand in my way? You think the heart will save you?" Lyriel felt a chill run down her spine, but she stood her ground, the heart pulsing with power at her fingertips. "I will protect it and my kingdom from you," she shouted defiantly. The guardian stood beside her, ready to lend her strength. The Leviathan lunged, its massive jaws snapping just inches from Lyriel. She rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the deadly strike, and summoned the magic of the heart. With a wave of her hand, she unleashed a torrent of water that struck the Leviathan with the force of a tsunami. The creature roared in anger, the blast momentarily staggering it. Lyriel seized the opportunity, drawing on her newfound powers. "This is for my mother," she cried, channeling the energy of the ocean into her attack. Tendrils of light wrapped around her, forming a protective shield as she prepared for the next strike. The Leviathan recovered quickly, its scales glistening as it charged again, a blur of fury and strength. Lyriel braced herself, feeling the heartbeat of the ocean synchronizing with her own. She knew she had to be strategic. Brute force wouldn't be enough against such a formidable foe. With the Guardian's guidance, she remembered the ancient tales of the Leviathan, how it could be subdued by understanding its true nature. "It's not just a beast, it's a guardian of the ocean," Lyriel thought, her mind racing. She needed to connect with the creature to show it that she was not its enemy. "Leviathan," she shouted, her voice carrying through the currents. "I do not wish to fight you. We can work together to protect this kingdom." The Leviathan paused, its massive head tilting in curiosity. You think you can tame me with words, girl? I am chaos incarnate. Lyriel took a deep breath, focusing her energy on the heart of the ocean. No, you are a guardian, just like me. We both seek to protect this realm from those who would exploit its magic. In that moment, she reached out with her heart, projecting waves of calming energy. The surrounding waters shimmered, resonating with the frequency of peace. For a brief second, she could see the Leviathan's ferocity softening, the darkness in its eyes flickering with doubt. But the moment was fleeting. The witch, seizing the opportunity of the Leviathan's distraction, unleashed a barrage of dark magic, striking Lyriel and the Guardian with a powerful wave of energy. Enough of this charade, she screamed, her voice laced with malice. The heart will be mine. The dark energy surged toward Lyriel, and she felt the weight of despair creeping in. Yet, in that moment, she realized the heart was not just a source of power, it was a reflection of her resolve. I won't let you take it, she declared, rallying every ounce of strength she had left. The Leviathan, sensing Lyriel's determination, let out a guttural roar, and with a mighty surge, it turned toward the witch. The battle between chaos and harmony unfolded in a dazzling display of light and darkness. The Leviathan struck the witch with its powerful tail, the force of the impact sending ripples throughout the cavern. Together we can defeat her, Lyriel shouted to the Leviathan, the heart glowing brightly in her grasp. Understanding flashed in the creature's eyes as it nodded, joining forces with Lyriel. With a united front, they charged toward the witch. The final confrontation was an epic clash of wills. Lyriel wielded the magic of the heart, sending forth waves of light that clashed against the witch's dark magic. The Leviathan lashed out, its size and power creating a shield around them, deflecting the witch's attacks. Your time is over, Lyriel yelled, channeling the full force of the heart. The gem flared with brilliant energy, illuminating the cavern and dispelling the darkness. With a final, explosive surge, they combined their powers, creating a vortex of pure energy that engulfed the witch. No, this cannot be, she screeched as the magic consumed her, pulling her into the depths of the ocean, her form dissolving into shadow. As the light faded, Lyriel and the Leviathan stood together, breathing heavily, the remnants of the battle swirling around them. The Guardian approached, a proud smile gracing her face. You have done it, Lyriel. You faced your fears and united the strength of the sea with your own. The kingdom is safe. Lyriel looked up at the Leviathan, gratitude filling her heart. Thank you, she said softly, the weight of the moment sinking in. Together we have protected our home. The Leviathan nodded, its fierce demeanor softened. You are a true guardian of the ocean, Lyriel. The heart chose wisely. As the dust settled and the waters calmed, Lyriel knew that her journey was far from over. The heart had revealed her lineage and her destiny, but the ocean held many more secrets waiting to be uncovered. With newfound allies and a deeper understanding of her purpose, she felt ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. As Lyriel swam deeper into the heart of the underwater kingdom, the shimmering light from the ocean's surface faded, replaced by a soft bioluminescent glow emanating from the coral formations surrounding her. The colors danced and shifted, casting ethereal shadows on the ancient stone walls adorned with carvings of creatures and heroes long forgotten. Lyriel could feel the weight of history in the water around her, a palpable sense of stories waiting to be uncovered. She had followed the whispers of the ocean currents, her instincts guiding her toward a grand hall that seemed to pulse with energy. The hall, a majestic dome made of intricately woven kelp and coral, was home to the Council of Elders, the wise guardians of the kingdom. As she approached, the water vibrated with a harmony that resonated deep within her chest, filling her with anticipation. The elders, majestic sea creatures of varying shapes and sizes, turned their attention to Lyriel. An enormous octopus, adorned with glimmering pearls, floated gracefully above the others, its many eyes glistening with wisdom. Welcome, Lyriel, it spoke, its voice a melodic echo that reverberated through the hall. You seek the truth of your lineage, do you not? Lyriel nodded, her heart racing. I do. I've discovered that I am connected to this kingdom, but I do not yet understand how. The octopus extended a tentacle, gesturing for her to come closer. To uncover your truth, you must first confront the shadows of your past. Each of us carries the burden of our history. Yours is entwined with the ocean itself. With a gentle motion, the octopus conjured an orb of light, which swirled and expanded, revealing images of a shipwreck. Liriel recognized the vessel. It was her father's, lost to the depths many years ago. She watched, entranced and heartbroken, as the vision shifted to show her father, a proud sailor, standing at the helm, laughter in his eyes. But then the scene darkened, and shadows of the deep emerged, dark, twisting tendrils reaching toward the ship, pulling it into the abyss. Liriel gasped, her heart pounding. What happened? Why did they attack? The octopus's gaze softened. The ocean protects its own, but it is also a realm of power and ambition. Your father sought the heart of the ocean, a source of untold energy, believed to grant unimaginable abilities. The shadows you saw were guardians enraged by his greed. He paid a heavy price for his ambition. Tears welled in Liriel's eyes as she absorbed this revelation. But I do not wish to repeat his mistakes. I only want to understand my place in this world. The octopus nodded, its voice growing solemn. The heart of the ocean is both a blessing and a curse. If you choose to pursue it, you must wield its power wisely. Its energy can mend or destroy. It resides within the abyssal chasm, a perilous place guarded by the Leviathan. Leviathan? Liriel felt a chill run down her spine. What do I need to do? You must seek the truth and confront your fears. The path will not be easy, but you are not alone. The Leviathan holds the key to understanding the balance of power in the ocean. Liriel took a deep breath, steeling herself. Then I will face the Leviathan. I must learn to navigate the darkness within and without. The Council of Elders murmured in approval, their forms shimmering with a soft light. Prepare yourself, Liriel. The journey ahead will challenge everything you believe in. But remember, the ocean flows through you. Trust in its currents. As she left the grand hall, Liriel felt a renewed sense of purpose. The weight of her family's legacy was heavy, but she was determined to carve her own path. The luminous fish danced around her, guiding her towards the depths where the Leviathan awaited. She could sense the pull of the chasm, a mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through her veins. Liriel's heart raced as she approached the chasm's edge. The dark waters loomed before her, whispering secrets and challenges. With each stroke of her arms, she propelled herself into the unknown, ready to confront the Leviathan and uncover the truth about her lineage. The chasm loomed before Liriel, an ominous void that seemed to stretch endlessly into the depths of the ocean. Dark waters swirled around her, creating an eerie sense of foreboding. With each stroke, the light from the surface grew dimmer until it was nothing but a distant memory. Liriel felt the cool pressure of the deep envelop her, heightening her senses. She took a deep breath, steadying herself for what lay ahead. As she descended into the abyss, the water grew colder and the current became stronger, pulling her deeper into its depths. Shadows danced in the periphery of her vision, twisting and turning like specters of the past. She recalled the octopus's warning about the Leviathan, the guardian of the heart of the ocean. The tales of its size and ferocity echoed in her mind, each one adding weight to her apprehension. Suddenly, a surge of bioluminescent creatures swirled around her, illuminating the path ahead. Liriel felt a strange comfort in their glow. She understood then that the ocean was not just a realm of darkness. It was also a tapestry of life, both beautiful and terrifying. With renewed resolve, she pressed forward, her determination sharpening with each passing moment. After what felt like an eternity, she reached a vast cavern, its walls lined with shimmering minerals that caught the faintest light, creating an otherworldly glow. In the center of the cavern lay a massive circular opening, swirling with a deep blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. This, she realized, was the entrance to the heart of the ocean, guarded by the Leviathan itself. As she approached, the water began to churn violently, and a deep, rumbling growl resonated through the cavern. The Leviathan emerged, a colossal creature with scales that shimmered like onyx and eyes that glowed with an ancient wisdom. It towered over her, a being of immense power that commanded both fear and reverence. Who dares to approach the heart of the ocean? Its voice boomed, echoing off the cavern walls like thunder. Liriel felt her heart race, but she stood her ground, drawing upon the courage she had cultivated on her journey. "I am Liriel," she declared, her voice steady despite the tremors of fear. "I seek to understand my lineage and the balance of power in the ocean. I wish to learn from you, great Leviathan." The creature regarded her with a piercing gaze, its expression inscrutable. "Many have sought the heart, driven by greed or ambition. What makes you different, Liriel? What do you seek beyond power?" "I do not seek power for its own sake," she replied, her voice unwavering. "I seek to protect this ocean, to understand my place within it. My father sought the heart and lost everything. I wish to honor his legacy by making choices that uphold the ocean's balance." The Leviathan paused, seemingly contemplating her words. "You speak of honor and balance, but the ocean is fraught with conflict. Those who wield the heart must be prepared to face the darkness within themselves. Are you willing to confront the shadows of your past?" "Yes," Liriel affirmed, feeling the weight of her father's choices pressing upon her. "I am ready to confront my fears, to understand what the ocean demands of me." With a slow nod, the Leviathan moved closer, its massive form creating currents that swirled around her. "Very well, Liriel. You shall face your past, and only then will you be deemed worthy to approach the heart." In that moment, the waters around her began to swirl violently, forming a vortex that pulled her under. Panic surged within her, but she focused on her breathing, reminding herself of her purpose. As the current engulfed her, images flashed before her eyes, visions of her father, of the shipwreck, and the shadows that had claimed him. Each memory clawed at her heart, stirring emotions she had tried to bury. Suddenly, Liriel found herself standing on the deck of her father's ship, the wind whipping through her hair as the ocean roared around her. She was not alone. Her father stood beside her, alive and vibrant. "Liriel," he called, his voice filled with warmth, "you must listen to the ocean. It speaks truths you cannot yet understand." "Father," she cried, rushing toward him. "Why did you seek the heart? Why did you not return?" His expression shifted, a shadow of sorrow passing over his face. "I sought to protect our legacy, but I was blinded by ambition. The ocean is not a treasure to be claimed. It is a living entity that demands respect. I failed to heed its warnings." As he spoke, the water began to churn again, dark tendrils rising from the depths, reaching for the ship. "You must not repeat my mistakes, Liriel. The shadows will come for you if you pursue power without understanding." The scene shifted once more, and Liriel found herself in the depths of the ocean, witnessing the chaos that had ensued after her father's quest for the heart. Creatures of darkness clashed with the guardians of the sea, turmoil spreading throughout the waters. Liriel felt a sense of urgency rising within her. She needed to break the cycle of ambition and destruction. "Your choices matter, Liriel," her father's voice echoed, resonating through the water. "You have the power to change the tide." With that, the visions faded, and Liriel found herself back in the cavern, the Leviathan looming before her. "You have faced your past, Liriel. Are you ready to embrace your future?" "I am," she replied, her heart steady. "I will protect the ocean and its secrets. I will not let the darkness claim what is sacred." The Leviathan regarded her with a mixture of approval and challenge. "Then approach the heart, and may your choices guide you wisely." Liriel took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her father's legacy and her own determination merge within her. She stepped toward the swirling blue light, ready to embrace the unknown and forge her destiny. As Liriel approached the swirling blue light of the heart of the ocean, she felt an overwhelming rush of emotions wash over her. The luminous energy pulsed rhythmically, resonating with her heartbeat as if the heart itself recognized her presence. Each step forward felt heavier yet more liberating, as if she was shedding the weight of her past with every movement. Upon reaching the edge of the light, she extended her hand, trembling with anticipation and trepidation. The blue glow enveloped her fingers, and suddenly she was flooded with visions of the ocean, its vast beauty, its hidden depths, and the countless creatures that called it home. She saw the interconnectedness of life beneath the waves, how each ripple, each current, played a vital role in the grand tapestry of the sea. Then an ancient voice echoed within her mind, deep and resonant, like the sound of rolling thunder. Liriel, you have sought the truth of your lineage and the balance of the ocean. Are you prepared to embrace your role as a guardian? With a deep breath, she replied, yes. I want to protect the ocean and understand the weight of my heritage. I will learn and grow not just for myself, but for all who dwell beneath the waves. The light flared, and she felt a surge of energy course through her, as if the heart was awakening to her intentions. Memories of her father's struggles and triumphs flickered before her, illuminating her path with clarity. In that moment, she understood that her journey was not just about reclaiming a lost legacy. It was about forging a new one built on compassion, understanding, and stewardship. Suddenly, the waters around her began to shift, swirling into a vortex of colors and sensations. Liriel was swept away, her body weightless as she floated through a kaleidoscope of marine life, currents, and memories. She saw glimpses of the past, her father, the other sailors, and the great battles fought beneath the waves. Each image told a story of sacrifice and courage, illuminating the price of ambition and the power of unity. As the vortex slowed, Liriel found herself back in the cavern, but now it was transformed. The walls shimmered with a new vibrancy, reflecting the lessons she had learned. The Leviathan loomed nearby, observing her transformation with a knowing gaze. You have embraced the heart, Liriel. You now carry its essence within you, it proclaimed, the resonance of its voice echoing in her bones. But with this power comes great responsibility. The ocean is in turmoil and the balance is at stake. The darkness that plagued your father still lingers, seeking to disrupt the harmony of our world. Liriel felt the gravity of the Leviathan's words. What must I do? She asked, determination shining in her eyes. You must gather the allies of the sea, unite them against the encroaching darkness, and restore the balance. The heart will guide you, but the strength to act must come from within. Seek the wisdom of the ancients and learn the ways of the ocean. With a nod, Liriel understood the path ahead. She was no longer just a sailor seeking her lineage. She was a guardian destined to lead the ocean's denizens against the looming threat. I will find the allies, she vowed. I will not let the darkness prevail. The Leviathan dipped its massive head in acknowledgement. Then your journey begins anew. Trust in the heart, and remember that the ocean speaks through its currents and its creatures. They will guide you if you listen. As the Leviathan faded into the shadows of the cavern, Liriel felt the presence of the heart coursing through her, guiding her next steps. She took a moment to gather her thoughts and then turned toward the cavern's exit. The swirling waters beckoned her forth, promising new adventures and challenges that lay ahead. Liriel swam through the ocean's embrace, feeling the pulsating energy of the heart within her. The path ahead was filled with uncertainty, but she was resolute in her purpose. She needed to gather allies who understood the ocean's ways and were willing to fight for its preservation. Her first destination was the Coral Gardens, a vibrant reef known for its beauty and the wisdom of its inhabitants. The coral was home to an array of sea creatures, each playing a vital role in the ecosystem. Liriel knew that if she could rally them to her cause, they would form a powerful alliance. As she approached the Coral Gardens, the water transformed into a mosaic of colors. Brilliant blues, vibrant reds, and soft pinks danced in the sunlight. Schools of fish darted among the coral, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed ballet. The beauty of the gardens brought a smile to her face, reminding her of the ocean's wonders. Upon reaching the heart of the gardens, she found a gathering of sea turtles, their ancient shells marked with the wisdom of ages. The elder turtle, known as Taro, raised his head, acknowledging her presence. Liriel, we have felt the stirrings of the ocean. You carry the heart with you. Yes, Elder Taro, she replied, her voice steady. I seek your wisdom and your strength. The darkness threatens our home, and I need allies to confront it. The turtles exchanged glances, their expressions thoughtful. Taro spoke, his voice deep and resonant. The ocean is indeed in peril. We have seen the signs, the shadows encroach upon the light. But to unite our kin requires more than words. It demands proof of your commitment. Liriel's heart raced. What must I do to prove myself? Taro gestured toward the outskirts of the coral gardens, where the waters darkened ominously. There lies a creature of the abyss, one that has long troubled our kin. Confront it, show your courage, and bring back the peace it has disturbed. Only then will we unite behind you. With a firm nod, Liriel felt her resolve strengthen. I will face this creature and return with peace. Thank you, Elder Taro, for your guidance. As she swam toward the shadowy depths, Liriel recalled the teachings of the ocean. She had learned that bravery was not the absence of fear, but the willingness to confront it. With the heart's essence guiding her, she plunged into the darkness, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The water grew colder as she descended, the vibrant colors of the coral gardens fading into a murky gray. The shadows twisted around her, whispering secrets of the abyss. With every stroke, she felt the weight of her lineage pressing upon her, urging her to be brave. As she neared the source of the darkness, Liriel spotted a massive silhouette lurking among the rocks. The creature's eyes glinted with an otherworldly light, and a low growl reverberated through the water. Who dares to disturb my domain? It rumbled, a voice that echoed like the crashing of waves. I am Liriel, guardian of the heart of the ocean, she declared, drawing upon her courage. I seek to restore balance and bring peace to these waters. You have troubled the creatures of the coral gardens, and I am here to confront you. The creature emerged from the shadows, a monstrous deep-sea leviathan with scales that shimmered like obsidian. Its body coiled and shifted, blocking her path. You believe you can confront me? I am the darkness that feeds on the fears of the ocean. Liriel's heart raced, but she stood firm, channeling the strength of the heart within her. I do not fear you. The ocean is more than darkness. It is a realm of light and life. I will not let you harm my home. With a furious roar, the creature lunged forward, teeth bared. Liriel braced herself, knowing this battle would define her journey. The Leviathan charged at Liriel with an unstoppable force, its massive jaws snapping inches from her. With the heart of the ocean pulsing within her, she felt an exhilarating surge of power. Drawing upon this energy, she dodged to the side, narrowly escaping its razor-sharp teeth. The water churned around her as the creature whirled, its eyes filled with a malevolent glint. Liriel steadied her breath, focusing on the wisdom of the ocean. She remembered the stories of her father, tales of the bond between a guardian and the sea. This was not merely a fight for her survival, it was a battle for the ocean itself. She could feel the vibrations of the coral gardens calling to her, urging her to protect their vibrant existence. With renewed determination, Liriel summoned the heart's energy, shaping it into a protective barrier around her. The water shimmered, forming a shield of light just as the creature lunged at her again. The impact was tremendous, causing ripples that echoed through the depths. But the shield held firm, the darkness crashing against the light. Why do you resist, Guardian? The creature growled, its voice booming like thunder. Embrace the shadows. Join me, and we will reign over the ocean together. I will never join you, Liriel shouted, her voice filled with conviction. The shadows may hold power, but they also bring destruction. I fight not for dominance but for the balance of the ocean. The creature hissed, anger radiating from its massive frame. It recoiled, momentarily stunned by her defiance. Seizing the opportunity, Liriel propelled herself forward, her heart racing. She swam with the grace of a dolphin, weaving through the water as she focused on the creature's vulnerable underbelly. With a swift motion, she unleashed a surge of energy from the heart, directing it toward the Leviathan. The brilliant blue light cut through the darkness, illuminating the water around her. The blast struck the creature squarely, sending it reeling backward with a thunderous roar. Liriel could feel the very essence of the ocean rallying behind her, empowering her in this struggle. But the battle was far from over. The Leviathan quickly regained its composure, its fury igniting an even darker shadow around it. You think you can defeat me? I am the fear that lurks in every sailor's heart, the darkness that consumes the ocean's light. It bellowed, its form swelling ominously. Liriel knew she had to stay focused. You are nothing without the fear you instill, she shouted back. I refuse to let you control me or the ocean any longer. Channeling the heart's essence, she formed tendrils of light that shot out toward the Leviathan. They twisted and turned, wrapping around its body, illuminating the dark shadows that threatened to consume the sea. The creature thrashed wildly, trying to break free, but Lyriel held her ground, fueled by the strength of her ancestors and the will of the ocean. Feel the light. Feel the truth of the ocean, she cried, pouring every ounce of her energy into the attack. The tendrils pulsed with brilliant colors, reflecting the beauty of the coral reefs, the depths of the trenches, and the dance of the waves. As the creature struggled, it began to change. The shadows started to recede, and for a fleeting moment, Lyriel saw the flicker of what it once was, an ancient guardian twisted by its own rage and fear. Remember who you are, she urged, her voice softening. You are not just darkness. You were once a protector of the sea. The Leviathan hesitated, caught in the glow of the heart. Lyriel could see the internal struggle in its eyes, the battle between its darker instincts and the remnants of its true nature. The ocean around them swirled with anticipation, the creatures watching, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Then, with a mighty roar, the Leviathan let loose a wave of darkness that surged toward Lyriel. She braced herself, feeling the pull of the shadows threatening to engulf her. No, she shouted, raising her arms as the heart flared with brilliant light. In that moment of desperation, she tapped into the deepest reservoir of her strength and summoned the energy of the ocean itself. A shock wave erupted from her, a force of pure light that shattered the darkness surrounding her. The Leviathan screamed, its form shifting violently as the light overwhelmed it. For a split second, the water exploded in a cacophony of sound and color, and then silence. As the dust settled, Lyriel found herself floating in an expansive calm. The Leviathan was gone, its darkness vanquished, replaced by a soft glow radiating from the heart of the ocean. The underwater world had changed, transformed by the confrontation. The water was alive with life, the coral gardens shimmering with renewed vibrancy. Lyriel took a moment to catch her breath, her heart racing with the thrill of victory and the weight of the journey ahead. She had faced the darkness and emerged victorious, but she knew that this was just the beginning. The ocean needed her now more than ever. With determination rekindled, Lyriel swam back toward the coral gardens. As she emerged from the depths, she could see the turtles gathered, their expressions a mix of awe and respect. You have faced the darkness and returned with its defeat, Elder Taro declared, his voice resonating through the water. You have proven your courage and commitment to the ocean. We will stand with you as allies in this battle to restore balance. Thank you, Elder, Lyriel replied, feeling the weight of responsibility settle upon her shoulders. Together we will protect our home. Lyriel floated among the colorful coral, her heart still racing from the battle against the Leviathan. The underwater kingdom thrummed with life, its inhabitants eager to celebrate their newfound hope. Schools of fish darted through the vibrant gardens, weaving intricate patterns of light and color that dazzled her senses. The turtles surrounded her, their shells reflecting the radiant glow of the heart of the ocean, while the elder Taro moved closer, his wise eyes filled with gratitude. You have saved us, young guardian, Taro spoke, his voice steady and filled with reverence. The shadows that threaten to consume our realm have been dispelled, but there is much work ahead. We must prepare for the return of the darkness, for it will not rest long before seeking vengeance. Lyriel nodded, understanding the weight of the elder's words. What must we do? She asked, her voice firm with resolve. She felt a deeper connection to the ocean now, as if the very currents and tides were calling her to action. We must unite our forces, Taro explained. We have allies in the deep abyss, creatures of great power and knowledge. They have long guarded the secrets of the ocean and may provide the answers we seek. However, the journey to the abyss is fraught with peril, and many who have ventured there have not returned. Lyriel felt a flicker of doubt, but it was quickly replaced by determination. I will go, she said resolutely. I cannot allow fear to dictate our future. If there is a chance to gather strength against the darkness, I must take it. The turtles exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of admiration and concern. Finally, Elder Taro spoke. If you are to embark on this quest, you will need guidance. I will send my most trusted messenger, Olwen, to accompany you. Together, you will navigate the treacherous waters of the deep abyss. With a flick of his fin, Taro summoned Olwen, a sleek, agile fish with shimmering scales that sparkled like jewels. Olwen, you will guide Liriel through the abyss and ensure her safety. The bond between you will be vital in this journey. Olwen bowed her head in respect. I will do everything in my power to protect you, Liriel, she assured. The deep abyss is mysterious, but together we can uncover its secrets. With their mission set, Liriel and Olwen prepared for the journey ahead. As they ventured deeper into the ocean, the landscape began to change. The vibrant colors of the coral gardens faded into a darker palette, and the water grew colder and denser. Shadows flitted across their path, reminding Liriel of the Leviathan's lingering presence. Stay close, Liriel, Olwen advised, her voice steady. The abyss is known for its illusions. We must remain focused on our goal and not get lost in the depths. Liriel nodded, her senses alert. I won't let anything distract me. The fate of the ocean depends on us. As they swam onward, the water transformed into an eerie silence. The ambient sounds of the ocean were replaced by an unsettling hush, as if the very sea was holding its breath. Liriel felt a shiver run down her spine, but she steeled herself against the fear. She focused on the heart of the ocean, feeling its warmth pulsating in rhythm with her own heartbeat. After what felt like hours of navigating through the dark waters, they finally arrived at the entrance to the deep abyss, a colossal crevice that yawned before them, a gaping maw leading into the unknown. The walls glimmered with bioluminescent algae, casting a ghostly light that illuminated the entrance. Liriel could feel the pull of the abyss, a mix of allure and danger that made her heart race. This is it, Olwen said, her voice barely a whisper. We must enter together. Stay close and don't lose your focus. With a deep breath, Liriel nodded, and together they plunged into the abyss. The dark waters enveloped them, a weighty silence pressing against their bodies. As they descended, the light from the entrance faded, replaced by an ethereal glow emanating from the depths. Strange creatures began to reveal themselves, some floating gracefully, while others moved with a predatory elegance. Liriel marveled at their beauty but remained vigilant. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught her eye. A dark shape darted past them, vanishing into the shadows. Liriel's heart raced. Did you see that? She asked Olwen, her voice tinged with urgency. Yes, Olwen replied, her eyes narrowed in concentration. We are not alone here. The abyss holds many secrets, some of which are best left undisturbed. Before Liriel could respond, the darkness shifted, and a chilling voice echoed through the water, reverberating in her bones. Who dares enter my domain? The voice was both haunting and powerful, sending shivers down her spine. I am Liriel, guardian of the ocean, she called, her voice steady despite the fear that gripped her. I seek knowledge to protect our world from the darkness that threatens it. The shadows parted, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness, a creature unlike any Liriel had ever seen. It had the form of a massive sea serpent, its scales glimmering like obsidian in the dim light. Its eyes burned with a fierce intelligence, and Liriel could feel its gaze piercing through her, probing her very soul. Many have sought knowledge here, but few have returned, the serpent said, its voice a low rumble. What makes you worthy, guardian? Liriel's heart pounded as she met the creature's gaze. I have faced the shadows that threaten my home and emerged stronger. I am willing to risk everything to protect the ocean and those who dwell within it. The serpent studied her for a long moment, the weight of its gaze heavy and unyielding. Finally it spoke. Very well, Liriel. To prove your worth, you must face the trials of the abyss. Only then will you gain the knowledge you seek. What kind of trials? Liriel asked, her resolve unwavering. You shall face 3 challenges, the serpent replied. Each will test your strength, your wisdom, and your heart. Only by overcoming them will you earn the right to speak with the ancients. Liriel nodded, steeling herself for what lay ahead. I am ready. Then let the trials begin, the serpent intoned, its voice echoing through the depths. The serpent's voice resonated in the dark waters, a challenge that hung in the air like a storm cloud. Liriel felt the weight of the moment as she steeled herself for the trials that awaited her. The serpent, still shrouded in shadow, flicked its long tail, parting the waters to reveal 3 distinct paths leading into the abyss. Each path shimmered with a different hue. One glowed a fiery red, the second a tranquil blue, and the third a deep, ominous black. "Choose your path, guardian," the serpent commanded, its voice low and grave. Each color represents a different trial: courage, wisdom, and sacrifice. The path you choose will define your journey. Liriel felt her heart race as she considered her options. The red path called to her, evoking memories of the fierce battle against the Leviathan, a test of courage she had already faced. Yet, the blue path whispered promises of knowledge and wisdom, a chance to gain insight into the mysteries of the ocean. The black path loomed ominously, hinting at danger and the possibility of sacrifice. After a moment's deliberation, she stepped forward and pointed to the blue path. "I choose wisdom," she declared, feeling an instinctual pull toward the unknown knowledge it promised. "Very well," the serpent said, its tone approving. "Enter the path of wisdom and prepare for your first trial." As Liriel swam into the shimmering blue corridor, the water transformed around her. It was as if she had entered a realm of dreams, filled with swirling currents and vibrant colors. Floating orbs of light danced around her, illuminating ancient inscriptions that glimmered like stars. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the waters, filling the space with an ethereal sound. "Welcome, seeker of knowledge. To pass this trial, you must answer my riddle." From the depths of the glowing mist, a figure emerged, a wise-looking octopus, its many tentacles gliding gracefully through the water. "Listen carefully," it intoned. "I'm not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. What am I?" Liriel thought for a moment, her mind racing. Memories of her childhood flashed before her. The warmth of the sun on her skin, the feel of the breeze in her hair. "Fire," she answered confidently. "Correct," the octopus replied, its eyes gleaming with approval. "You have passed the first trial. Wisdom comes not just from knowledge, but from understanding the world around you." With a nod of gratitude, Liriel swam past the octopus and continued down the blue path. The water shifted once more, and she felt a surge of energy course through her. The next trial awaited, and she was ready. As she emerged from the blue corridor, Liriel found herself in a vast chamber filled with swirling currents that formed a cyclone of water. In the center stood a stone pedestal adorned with glowing crystals. "You have proven your wisdom," the serpent's voice boomed. "Now face your second trial, the trial of courage." The currents began to whirl violently, threatening to pull Liriel into their depths. She felt fear creep into her heart, but she knew she had to stand firm. Gathering her strength, she swam against the current, fighting to reach the pedestal. Each stroke was a battle, each moment a test of her will. Just as she thought she would be overwhelmed, Liriel recalled the Leviathan and the courage she had shown in that moment. With renewed determination, she pushed through the raging waters, finally reaching the pedestal. The moment she touched the crystals, the currents ceased and a bright light enveloped her. "You have shown great courage, guardian," the serpent declared. "Now for your final trial, the trial of sacrifice." The chamber transformed once again, and Liriel found herself in a dark, empty expanse of water. A haunting silence enveloped her, and the shadows stretched ominously. Before her appeared an image of her beloved home, the Coral Gardens, now shrouded in darkness and despair. "If you wish to protect what you love," the serpent's voice echoed, "you must be willing to sacrifice something dear to you." Liriel's heart sank as she contemplated the implications of the trial. Memories of her family and friends filled her mind. "What must I sacrifice?" she asked, her voice trembling. "You must give up your connection to the heart of the ocean," the serpent replied, its tone grave. "In doing so, you will protect your home and its inhabitants from the darkness, but you will never be able to return to this realm." The weight of the decision crushed Liriel. She had fought for the ocean and its creatures, but to give up her connection to the heart meant she would be severed from everything she loved. Tears streamed down her face as she thought of the sacrifices she had already made, but she knew she had to protect her home. "I will do it," she said, her voice strong despite her heartbreak. "If it means saving my family and friends, I will sacrifice my bond with the heart of the ocean." The darkness swirled around her as the serpent raised its head. "You have proven yourself worthy, Liriel. Your heart is true, and your sacrifice shall not be in vain." As the final words left the serpent's mouth, the chamber was filled with blinding light. Liriel felt the connection to the heart of the ocean begin to fade, a bittersweet sensation washing over her. She closed her eyes, focusing on the faces of those she loved, knowing that they would be safe. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself back in the great chamber before the serpent. "You have completed the trials, Guardian," it proclaimed. "Your wisdom, courage, and sacrifice have earned you the right to speak with the ancients." With a wave of its tail, the serpent gestured toward a portal that shimmered with a soft glow. "Enter, Liriel, and seek the knowledge you desire. The ancients await." Taking a deep breath, Liriel swam through the portal, feeling a rush of energy surge around her. She emerged in a grand hall filled with luminous figures that floated gracefully in the water. The ancients were magnificent beings, their forms shifting and shimmering like the ocean itself. "Welcome, Liriel," one of the ancients spoke, its voice melodic and resonant. "You have proven yourself through trials, and we have much to share with you." Liriel felt a sense of awe wash over her as she gazed at the ancient beings. "I seek knowledge to protect my home from the darkness," she said, her voice steady. The ancients exchanged knowing glances. "The darkness you face is not merely a creature but a force that seeks to unbalance the very fabric of the ocean," another ancient explained. "It feeds on fear and despair, and only through unity and understanding can it be vanquished." "But how?" Liriel asked, desperation creeping into her voice. "What must I do?" "To defeat the darkness, you must gather the hearts of the ocean, the essences of its many creatures. Only then can you forge a weapon strong enough to challenge the shadows," the first ancient replied. "You will not do this alone. Your allies will come to your side, and together you shall create a force that cannot be extinguished." Liriel nodded, determination igniting within her. "I will gather the hearts and unite the ocean to defeat the darkness. Remember, Guardian, that true strength lies in the bonds you forge," the ancients advised. "As you gather the hearts, you will also learn the stories of those who inhabit this realm. Their wisdom and love will guide you." With newfound clarity, Liriel thanked the ancients and prepared to return. As she swam back through the portal, the weight of her sacrifice settled within her, but it was now coupled with a fierce resolve to protect her home. Liriel emerged from the deep abyss with a renewed sense of purpose. The underwater kingdom welcomed her, its colors vibrant and alive, yet she knew the threat of darkness loomed over them all. As she shared her journey and the ancients' message, the inhabitants rallied around her, ready to unite for the greater good. Olwen swam beside her, full of excitement. "What do we do first?" she asked, her eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. "We must visit each corner of the ocean and gather the hearts," Liriel explained. "Each creature holds a piece of the ocean's essence, and together we can forge a weapon against the darkness." Their first destination was the Coral Gardens, where Liriel had grown up. As they approached, she felt a mix of nostalgia and apprehension. The vibrant colors were still present, but a sense of unease lingered in the waters. As they entered the gardens, familiar faces greeted them, friends and family who had been waiting anxiously for Liriel's return. "You're back," a familiar voice exclaimed, and Liriel was enveloped in a warm embrace. "I'm here and I need your help," she explained quickly. "We must unite the ocean to stand against the darkness." The creatures of the Coral Gardens gathered, eager to listen to Liriel's story. She recounted her trials in the deep abyss, the ancient knowledge she had gained, and the urgent need to gather the hearts of the ocean. "Together we can fight back," Liriel urged, her voice rising with passion. "Each of you carries the essence of our home. We must harness that power and create something strong enough to defeat the shadows." The creatures murmured among themselves, their resolve strengthening. One by one they began to offer their hearts, glowing orbs of light that pulsed with energy. Liriel felt the warmth of their essence envelop her, a reminder of the unity they were forging. With the hearts gathered from the coral gardens, Liriel and Olwen swam to the next destination, the shimmering depths of the crystal caves. The caves were known for their unique inhabitants, creatures with extraordinary abilities. Liriel hoped they would be willing to lend their hearts to the cause. As they approached the caves, the water sparkled around them, and they were greeted by the inhabitants, delicate crystal fish that glimmered like stars. "What brings you here, Liriel?" one of them inquired, its voice melodious and light. "We are gathering the hearts of the ocean to stand against the darkness that threatens our home," Liriel explained. "Will you join us?" The crystal fish exchanged glances, and Liriel felt a ripple of uncertainty. "The darkness is powerful," another fish spoke. "What can we do to help?" "The ancients have taught me that strength lies in unity," Liriel replied. "With your hearts combined with those of the coral gardens, we will create a force that can stand against the shadows. Your essence will bring clarity and illumination to our cause." After a moment of contemplation, the crystal fish agreed, and they began to lend their hearts to the gathering. Each heart shimmered with the light of 1,000 stars, infusing the collection with energy and brilliance. Liriel felt the weight of her mission, but she also felt hope. With each heart collected, they were one step closer to confronting the darkness that threatened their world. As Liriel and Olwen continued their journey, they visited the vibrant kelp forests, where the graceful sea turtles offered their hearts. They ventured to the abyssal plains, where the wise old squid shared its ancient knowledge and essence. Each encounter was a testament to the bonds that united them all, the love and respect for their ocean home. Liriel felt empowered as the hearts pulsed in unison, each one a reminder of the strength they could harness together. Their final destination was the sacred Whispering Cove, where the merfolk lived, a community known for their deep connections to the ocean's magic. As Liriel swam into the cove, she felt the familiar embrace of energy envelop her. The merfolk welcomed her with open arms, their eyes shining with curiosity and concern. "You have returned, Liriel. What troubles you?" the elder merfolk asked, his voice filled with wisdom. Liriel shared her journey, the trials she had faced, and the urgent need to unite the hearts of the ocean. "We must stand together against the darkness. Will you lend your hearts to our cause?" The elder nodded, and the merfolk gathered around her. They shared stories of their connection to the ocean, their reverence for its beauty, and the power they held within. One by one they offered their hearts, each glowing with a unique light that added to the collective. With the hearts of the merfolk, Liriel felt an overwhelming surge of energy. The power of their unity began to weave a tapestry of light, illuminating the cove and reflecting their combined strength. As the last heart was gathered, Liriel looked at the collection before her. It pulsed with a kaleidoscope of colors, each representing the essence of the ocean's inhabitants. "We are ready," she declared, her voice filled with conviction. "We must confront the darkness," Olwen said, her eyes filled with determination. "It is time to protect our home." With the hearts united, Liriel led the way back to the deep abyss, where the shadows loomed ominously. As they approached the swirling darkness, Liriel felt fear creep into her heart once more. But she remembered the bond they had forged, the strength they had gathered. Together they stood before the darkness, the hearts illuminating their path. "We are united," Liriel called out, her voice steady. "We stand together against the shadows that seek to unbalance our home." The darkness surged forward, a chaotic force that threatened to engulf them. But as Liriel held the hearts aloft, the light grew brighter, pushing back the shadows. The energy surged through her, and she felt the strength of her friends and family. "Together," she cried, and with a wave of her hand, she unleashed the collective power of the hearts. The light surged forward, colliding with the darkness in an explosion of energy. Waves of light washed over the abyss, illuminating every corner of the ocean. The shadows writhed and twisted, but the light only grew stronger. Liriel felt the warmth of the ocean embrace her, the love and unity of her friends fueling the battle. The darkness howled, but it was no match for the power of their bond. As the last remnants of darkness faded away, the ocean erupted in celebration. Creatures emerged from the shadows, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude. The deep abyss transformed into a sanctuary, a place of harmony where all could thrive. With the darkness vanquished, Liriel stood among her friends, her heart swelling with pride and love. The ocean had been restored, and the bonds they had forged would last a lifetime. "Thank you, Liriel," Olwen said, tears of joy in her eyes. "You brought us all together." "It was our unity that triumphed," Liriel replied, her voice filled with warmth. "Together we are stronger." As the sun began to rise over the ocean, casting golden rays of light across the water, Liriel knew their journey was far from over. The ocean held many more stories, adventures waiting to unfold. And as long as they stood united, they would face whatever came next. With her heart full of hope and gratitude, Liriel swam toward the horizon, ready to embrace the adventures that awaited her and her friends.